The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Get $40 off a furnace or AC tune-up, or double your savings and get $80 off when you get them done at the same time. Visit standardheating.com to save now.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Today is National Awkward Moment Day.
I know I'm socially awkward because I asked my friend what his biggest fear was. He said losing his child. He said, what's your biggest fear, Mark? I said, accidentally hitting the FaceTime button on my phone. I got weird stuff going on in my room, yeah? I'm eating tuna out of a can. I got half a boner, an old yearbook open. It's weird.
Have you ever had it when you talk to someone for a while and then you say goodbye to them and then you both leave in the same direction? And you don't even get if you're allowed to talk anymore? You're like, dude, shut up. We got a deal.
Recently, I was at a bar, and I saw someone that I knew. I started, walking over towards him, right? I pulled my hand out, way too soon. I had a long way to go. If you pull your hand out too soon, you kind of just have to keep it out there.
I went to this restaurant. I needed to go to the restroom. I go to flush. It doesn't work. I flush again. Still not working. 5, 6, 7 times I try to flush this thing down. It will not go. So I'm like, I'm going to do the right thing here. I'm not going to do a hit and run. I will go out and inform a member of staff that there is a problem with their facilities, all right? I find a waiter. He doesn't speak a word of English. I pointed at my poo. I went to flush. It went down straight away. How weird did I look? Like I just invited a waiter into the restroom to say goodbye to my turn.
Let's start the show.
Awkward. It's showtime.
F me running. What an incredible feeling to be broadcasting live for the wonderful people. Welcome to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Monday morning and all that. Good morning, Cubby.
Good morning to you. Sorry you caught me in the middle of a beverage.
It's National Awkward Moment Day today.
It is. Anyone have any awkward moments over the weekend?
No, none over the weekend, but I just got to generally say, awkward moments can be a hell of a lot of fun. You're the mayor, Josh, of awkward moments.
I don't like to brag, but I must say I'm pretty good at it. As a matter of fact, I had one over the weekend.
Well, here's why I say that. Because you do seem to find yourself in these wacky situations, like, for instance, seeing your grandmother topless. Okay?
Yeah.
But also things like, because you're such a friendly guy, you'll wave at somebody. A complete stranger, if they're waving at you, and then you find out they're not waving at you, they're waving at someone behind you.
I've been busted a couple times by people who were reaching up for their garage door openers. Where I think, wow, what a pleasant individual. And I wave at that person, and they look at me like, what's this guy doing?
And you've told us these incredible stories over the years. You just, because maybe bad luck, I don't know what it is, you'll trip in public.
Oh, yeah, I fell on a family's table and ended up buying them a dinner.
Yeah.
It was the world's longest fall, by the way, where I thought, I'll recover any second. But no, I landed right in the middle of their dinner table.
But
ironically enough, at a comedy establishment.
It was a comedy club?
Yeah, the House of Comedy.
You were the opening act, and you had no idea.
They didn't even know.
Yeah, you didn't know. Nobody knew you were the opening. But the reason why I call you the mayor of awkward moments is obviously because you have found yourself in some real-life awkward situations. But I also think you feel awkwardness sometimes when it's not there.
I've been told that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think about stuff probably too much.
So what happened over the weekend that's perfect? And here we are on National Awkward Moment Day. You say you got involved in something over the weekend.
Well, I'm going to tell you, but first I have to talk about Legacy of Honor, put on by the Dakota County Heroes, Ironheart Pro Wrestling. They did this event at True Player Sports Training in Rosemont, and the awkward moment happened there.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about this last week. There was this great charity-based wrestling show.
It was awesome.
Coming to Rosemont. We were hoping you were going to go, and you did.
It was such a nice benefit. It was benefiting the 3 families of the Burnsville Fallen Heroes, lost their lives in service last month. Paul Elmstrand, Matthew Ruge, Adam Finseth. Burnsville Police and Fire Departments also benefited from this.
They raised a pile of money and put on a good show.
They did, tens of thousands. It was a moving event. It really was. Quite a few times. I got choked up at least twice. Overwhelming support for law enforcement and first responders. And I wanted to make sure any law enforcement first responders listening knew there's so much support out for you that you don't see and you need to see. And I wish you felt that more. I wish you felt what was going on in that building on Saturday. I wish you felt that all the time, because it was awesome. It was really great to see that much support.
Yeah.
Everybody was, in a good mood. There was a couple of solemn moments, got emotional. The Farmington Color Guard was there presenting the flag. That one I got choked up. A police officer sang the national anthem, and he had a beautiful voice.
Nice.
I'll be honest, I was a little nervous when they brought this guy in uniform. I thought, I wonder how this is going to go. And he had a wonderful voice. Farmington Mayor Josh Hoyt, he got in the ring. And I'll tell you what, if we're going to talk to him later on this morning, by the way, with Shaver and Ryder. If he wanted to do this professionally, he could. He had great mic skills. He's got the size. He looks like a professional wrestler. He had a nice showing in the ring. He was awesome. I got a chance to meet him. He's a fun guy to talk to, so I'm really looking forward to having him come on the air. He's got a surprise for us.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah. Also, thank you to all the Brotherhood and Sisterhood who came up and had an opportunity to talk to them. I appreciate your time. That was fun. There was a lot of support.
You were mobbed by fans.
Well, that's not true. Wrestling fans who happened to be there along with me. That was really cool. My son got involved a little bit. He held up a fruit strip to one of the wrestlers, asked if he wanted it. He did. That wrestler lured another wrestler into the ring and then kicked his butt with that. That was hilarious. But there was a moment where they had asked, they were going to honor some first responders, and they called them out and said exactly what we were all thinking, how much we appreciate them, and said, you need to be recognized. And so I stood up to show my appreciation. And, I'm applauding, and I'm kind of looking around, and there was only a handful of us that stood up, and I thought, this is weird because we're at an event where everyone feels the same.
Right.
Everyone's passionate about this. And it was palpable. You could feel it. And then all of a sudden, and we were sitting right next to the speaker, so it was a little tough to really make out what was being said at times.
Okay.
And I realized, as my wife looks at me like, what are you doing? They had asked the first responders in the audience to stand up. And so I'm standing up, looking around, going, boy, there's just, a quarter of the audience is what's going on here? And then I immediately sat down and I'd asked my wife, I'm like, how bad did that look? How bad was that? And she said, look on your face said you were showing appreciation, so it probably looked like you were just standing up to say, which I was. I was standing up to show my thankfulness for it.
You were waving to the crowd or anything? Like, take a bow.
Yeah, look at me, please. No. Please shower me with the praise that these first responders deserve. Oh, my God, I still feel like a dickhead for that.
Oh, that sucks, Josh.
These things, they can happen.
Oh,
they
yeah,
can
my
happen.
body heat rose. And
of course.
You got a little sweaty?
Oh, I did.
Red-faced and everything.
And it wasn't like it was completely anonymous. Like I said, I had an opportunity to have some nice conversations with people. So any of those, if they saw, are probably like, what the hell is he doing? I know he's not a first responder.
That's not a first responder. That's Cubby. Well, I'm happy that you had a great time at the show. And like you said, I'm looking forward to talking to the mayor of Farmington, Josh Hoyt.
Josh Hoyt,
who you say put on a hell of a show.
Oh, he really did. He didn't, I thought he might be a little nervous, something like that. He wasn't at all.
Did he wear a singlet? What did he wear?
I don't remember.
Singlet?
It was definitely not a singlet.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember exactly what he wore, but
it was so funny this one time. You know how the wrestlers, they wear that like spandex, really like the underwear looking stuff?
Well, trunks.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So
were you at the show?
No.
Oh.
At this other independent show, this little kid, he yelled at one of the wrestlers, and he's like, "You're a diaper butt."
That hurts, man.
Yeah, and the wrestler, he just turns around and he gets so pissed. He's like, "I'm not a diaper butt. I'm not a diaper butt. These are wrestling athletic shorts." He just went after him. It was so funny. Oh, everyone started chanting diaper butt.
If you have to claim you're not a diaper butt, you're most definitely a diaper butt.
Totally.
That's what I was taught years ago.
Those guys in Ironheart Pro Wrestling, they're fun. I'm definitely going to go to another one of those events if they come back.
Good for them.
Yeah, they put on a good show, and it was cool because I was talking to the mayor, and he had mentioned there was maybe half the crowd had never been to a wrestling event, and we brought a couple neighbor kids who hadn't, and you can see progressively folks getting more and more into it, and everybody's yelling at the wrestlers and having a good time. A couple people had some funny signs. One said, I just hope everyone has fun. There was another one that simply said sports. One of the wrestlers went out, one of the heels went out and tore them up. And the other,
got to tear that up, yeah.
And then another face went out and started to kind of put it back together.
That's cool.
Read the sign.
That's good.
Well, we look forward to talking to the mayor of Farmington.
You guys will like him. You'll like him. He's
Yeah,
a
are you
cool
thinking
guy.
about moving to Farmington now? You seem pretty in love with the mayor.
Hell no.
Okay.
No, I do love the mayor.
That's a little too far.
Not moving to Farmington.
He would have had to have, Cubby would have had to taken a chair shot right to the skull to move to Farmington. Well, that's a hell of a deal. Here we are Monday morning, St. Patrick's Day weekend. I don't know if anybody got buck wild.
We didn't do a thing yesterday.
No, I was
Nothing
completely
yesterday.
oblivious to St. Patrick's Day yesterday until I was watching a hockey game or something and they mentioned it. But hope everyone had fun.
I went out on Saturday and some of my boyfriend's friends invited us over to their place, and I didn't even put together that it would be for St. Patrick's Day. Like, I arrived and everybody was in green, and I was like, oh my gosh, duh. Like, people celebrate the day before if it's on a Sunday. I was dressed in all black. I was like, gosh darn it. You guys know I love any reason to dress up. I like to even dress festive for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, you blew it.
I was so bummed out, but I had a lot of fun. Won some money in pull tabs. That was pretty cool.
Well, that's how you do it right there.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I've only won money on pull tabs once, and it was for somebody else.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, never won. We tried at one of my uncle's 50th birthday party. They had some pull tabs at this bar, and so our oldest wanted to play, and he was kind of getting a little too into it, and I was nervous. And I'm trying to teach him a lesson about gambling. He had $1 left.
Could I push a few of my friends over to your place sometime so you can teach them a lesson about gambling?
It didn't work for me.
Because I've got some hopeless junkies. But anyway, go ahead. I got some of my friends are hopeless junkies.
They've got some issues.
And our neighborhood bar just got pull tabs, and it's been ugly so far. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
And so I was telling them, just hold on to that last $1. Obviously, it hasn't been going well for you, and this is how it works. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. I'm trying to teach them that. And he's like, just one more. So I'm like, all right. Your funeral, pal.
Right.
He goes and he won $100.
Right.
And then he kept going. He ended up walking out of there with about $500.
Wow.
Lesson learned.
Yep.
That didn't work.
You can gamble for a living, and I'll pay off every single time.
Yeah, I hear you on all that. Brad Ryder, like you said, Randy Shaver will be joining us a little bit later, around 7:30. That's when we'll try to throw the mayor of Farmington into the mix and chat with him. You say he has a surprise for us.
Yeah, he's got something he's going to announce.
Well, maybe he's going to designate a day on the calendar in the future to the Half-Ass Morning Show.
Oh, we get our own day in Farmington?
I mean, I don't know.
How cool would that be?
Just taking a stab.
That'd be neat.
I think we've had it coming for years.
Would we have to go to Farmington on that day, though?
No one ever Dana, no one really actually lives in Farmington. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Maybe we'll get our own day. Well, now I'm excited. We got to quit effing around and put on our own wrestling show one of these days, don't you think?
I know there's been talk about it for a really long time.
We got to quit screwing around and put on a wrestling show.
Maybe
That'd
we
be
can team up
awesome.
with Ironheart. That'd be fun. Like I said, these
Whatever
guys.
it takes.
Yeah, some of them, I wonder if, no offense to Ironheart, but I wonder if First Wrestling and stuff like that, I wonder if they're too big. They've got their own thing going on. They probably don't want to associate with some low timers like ourselves, but
We'll make some phone calls on this, but I'd like to see it happen. What else is going on around here? National Awkward Moment Day.
I do hate that in the clip when you say bye to someone, then you walk the same way.
Walk in the same direction.
Oh, I hate that.
that happened to me
That's the
Saturday too.
worst.
You hate that in the clip? What does that mean?
Like the audio clip we started the show with.
Oh, I thought there was some new slang that I hate that in the clip when you're walking down the street. I didn't know if the in the clip meant in your neighborhood, or you're referring way back to the, okay.
Yep. Yeah, or when you walk into a pole door, that's also sucks.
A pole door?
Oh, because
Yeah,
you're trying to push? Yep.
Yeah, you're trying to
pull.
push.
Oh, but
Okay.
let's you and I warm up and have a conversation before we go on the air. And then when we go live, I won't have all these questions for...
Yeah, that sucks too. And then everyone's watching you, and it's like, great, they totally saw that.
Yeah, they know.
Just carry a
It can be a hell of a
screwdriver
deal.
with you, and then you can just kind of like try act as if you're adjusting the door.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I fixed it.
That's working.
Everyone's good. I've definitely done another thing in the clip, in the intro there. I've done the put my hand out too early to walk over for a handshake.
Yeah. Or sometimes you do that move where you hold a door for somebody, but you realize they're too far behind you, so you're stuck holding the door for like way too long, and then they kind of feel like they've got to like put a little hustle in the step to get to the door faster because you're still holding it.
And they might even look pissed. Like, man. 'Cause I've been at both ends of that.
I could have gotten it myself, man.
That happens so much, it doesn't make me feel awkward anymore. I'm just like, all right, embrace it. Look at them. Watch them walk towards you.
There was one time I held the door open for about like 3 people to go into a gas station, and then I was just running in there to grab something quick, and then they all just cut me off to pay first with their stuff. I was like, dude, really? That's the last nice thing I'm doing.
There are some awkward things that can happen, no question about it. Hey, look, speaking of wrestling, we've got a prize today.
We do.
And it's WWE Monday Night Raw coming to town July 29th at the XL Energy Center. Do you guys know about this Raw show coming to town?
Yeah, I heard about it over the weekend.
Yeah, just the weekend.
My wife was talking about it.
Yeah, speaking of wrestling, be listening because we've got some tickets to go see the WWE show. Josh, you're the kind of guy that likes to walk on a treadmill now and again, right?
I do daily, yeah.
Walk on, you'll even walk down the damn street, like go outdoors now and again with the wife. You guys go for walks.
I did it yesterday. I don't know if they hand out awards for folks that walk their dogs when it's cold and windy, but if they do, I'd like to be presented with one.
You did that yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yesterday was a
dude.
rough day.
It was chilly.
That's ballsy. I saw some dude walking his dog, and I thought, that is the last thing I'd want to be doing right now.
Even
That
my
dog's
dog
going to blow away.
Not my dog.
No, not your dog, no.
Even he outweighs me. Even my dog was like, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
We don't have to go every day. This is ridiculous.
I'll walk around the living room. It's fine.
What about, Josh, what about jogging?
No.
Okay.
No, I do not jog.
Anybody here jog?
Yes.
I like to jog.
Do you really?
I've
Now
started
and
it
then.
again recently.
It's stupid.
It is.
Never
Yeah.
outside, though.
It's really stupid.
Yeah, I don't. I was thinking about it. Like, I'm gonna have to fight if somebody ever wants to attack because I can't jog. I don't want to do either, but I can't run away. Not anymore.
No, you're too old to jog. You're too old to run. I know I am as well.
Just play dead, Josh.
That's probably the best way to go.
All right, so a couple of the younger people still feel the need to jog. It's silly. You'll get over it. But according to what I was reading over the weekend, okay, do you find jogging boring?
Very.
No.
Yes, that's the problem. It's very boring.
Yes.
You go outside or on a treadmill?
I've been doing treadmill, but I've considered starting to do it outside, but I don't think I'll get to that point.
If you get bored with your jogging, maybe you should try joggling.
Joggling.
Now, wait a minute.
Jogging and juggling?
Dana, you
That's
know how to
correct.
juggle, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Well, according to what I was reading over the weekend, there's competitive jogging while juggling. It's called joggling.
Oh my gosh, that would be so difficult.
You would not look crazy when you're like practicing for one of the events.
Right.
No, totally not at all. People are going to be like, oh, yeah, that's normal.
Oh, I don't know. I watched some of the videos that look cool.
Really?
I don't think if I saw someone jogging and juggling, I would think they were crazy. I would think they were warming up for a state fair parade or something.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a good point.
Halftime of the Timberwolves game.
Right.
I was kind of jealous. I can't juggle. I can't juggle. I could never do something like this, but I've tried juggling a few times. I just can't figure it out.
The hand-eye coordination that you have to do that, it's just got to be impeccable.
Do you have the juggling skills, Dana, to where you could picture yourself being able to juggle while jogging?
I don't think so.
You don't think?
I'm out of practice, too.
Well, I mean, maybe with a couple weeks practice, you could get there. Joggling, now, the story I'll go ahead and tell you comes from friggin' England. I don't know if this craze has made its way to the States yet, but this is the reason why joggling came to be, at least over in stupid-ass England, is a couple guys were avid joggers, and the boredom was killing them. So they decided to try to add some excitement by juggling while jogging, and now it's turned into organized races all around town. And these two guys are two of the pioneers of the setup. I've often thought that maybe a little more exercise could do me good, Josh. I've had those thoughts.
You go through phases.
I do push-ups and sit-ups, doctor's orders. He said if I didn't start doing push-ups and sit-ups, I'll be dead in a handful of years.
Yeah, you gotta do a little something, get your heart rate going.
My heart rate don't ever say that
I don't like
again.
that.
Don't ever say that again.
In a healthy way, not the way that your heart does.
I don't ever get my heart rate going for anything. Trust me, when I do my push-ups and sit-ups, my heart rate is no faster than if I was sitting on the couch. Don't talk like that. That's dangerous kind of talk.
Especially if people our age. Are you
Right.
trying to kill? Yeah, I go for push-ups. I try and do those every day. And I go right until my heart says, all right, let's start moving faster. And then I edge my heart. I
You're
said,
not
no, we're not
breaking a
doing
sweat?
You do. You edge.
I edge it. I get it right to the point where it's going to start beating faster, and then I stop.
I never get my heart rate going for any reason. But yes, I do sit-ups and push-ups as often as I can. Hopefully daily, but not always. Because my doctor said, look, the clock is ticking. But on the subject of jogging, I have watched them go by my window my whole life. Because I lived on a busy street damn near my whole entire life. And when I watch them go by, I've often thought of how boring it is. And I've thought, why not dribble a basketball?
Yes, it's something to keep your...
But I never see that. Dribble a basketball. Well, now, basketball dribbling while jogging would be boring because now we've got folks juggling while jogging, and again, it's called joggling.
26 countries have professional jogglers.
Are you effing? I thought this was the only one. 26 countries.
There's a website. There's at least 600 jogglers from 26 countries.
Well, let's, Dana, if you have some spare time, see what you can accomplish. And maybe, let's say by the time the state fair comes around, we can have you joggle around the block.
around the booth a couple times.
That'd be fun.
Whoa. And folks can chase you and throw garbage at you.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
And see if you can make it a block around the state fair.
I'm used to getting thrown garbage at me, so that would just be natural.
You're used to that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you jog for?
What's that?
How long do you jog for, truthfully?
Less than a mile, usually, honestly.
How long does that take you?
8-9 minutes.
Nice.
Someone texted.
I like that. I like that. He's not pushing himself at all.
No.
Good for you. That's how you do it.
Get a sweat going, and all right, I did something. I accomplished at least the bare minimum.
Are you trying to get in shape for the upcoming wedding?
I just want to get in shape in general, too. Like Nick said, my doctor's been like, yeah, you could stand to lose a few pounds. So
did he say anything about?
You know what? My doctor said that about you as well. Yeah, he asked me to pass it along.
Hey, you know your friend Dana, or your acquaintance Dana?
I gotta know though. Did he mention the risk of sudden death?
No, he didn't mention that.
Then you haven't had that conversation yet. Okay.
So someone texted in and they said you got to check out the Teton Scuggler.
Teton Scuggler.
Sounds like a wrestler.
This guy, he's juggling as he's skiing down a hill, and he'll go off jumps and still juggle.
You know what, Wapple? That's just a show off.
Yeah.
That's all that is.
He
He's
needs to
bragging
chill
at this
out.
point.
This is so
We're not
cool.
featuring show-offs on this program.
This is so cool. I sent you guys a message.
Delete it. Oh no! What is this?
What?
Jesus! I got a text from someone. Other ideas as to how to help make jogging a little more exciting to kill the boredom. God, Mouse Cheeses Jesus, which is a very difficult name to say on the radio. Mouse in Cheeses Jesus. He says pocket bronco and jogging.
I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Well,
don't knock it till you try
You do that inside.
Well, then I'll have. See, the pocket bronco was a little too obvious. Now Jesus, here we go, Josh. We've come full circle again. We can talk about the yank again if we want to.
Oh yeah.
If you want to be subtle about masturbation while jogging, it's called the yank.
I guess depending on the dry spell, I would have to. I wonder if I could even get a mile at certain times. Or even get up to speed. I don't know.
a nice windy day might just get it going.
If you got a pocket Bronco, you still need something to move it up and down. See, the yank, it straps, one end of it goes around your thigh. The other, this is a true story.
It is.
They used to advertise this in magazines when I was a kid. The other end of the strap goes around your pecker. And as you walk or jog, it...
Real Dirt Nasty Jesus said his drive to work gets a little boring, so he's going to pick up juggling.
Wait, what is that now?
Well, driving while juggling.
Oh,
drivuggling.
Driving while juggling. What can you juggle? Tennis balls, fruit, chainsaws, puppies,
melons,
kitten juggling.
Ooh, that would be impressive.
Has anyone seen The Jerk? Right?
I have, yes.
Okay, kitten juggling. What can you juggle?
Baseballs, tennis balls, stuff like that.
Wapple, you've never seen The Jerk?
Mini basketballs.
No, never.
You'd love it.
Oh, Wapple, you've never seen The Jerk?
I'm excited that you haven't seen it. You got to watch it.
I thought that we've talked about The Jerk, you and I.
No, I don't think so.
Well, you're out of your mind and you've never seen a movie. You got to see Steve Martin, 1979, The Jerk.
Yeah, never saw it.
Oh. Dana, when you're juggling, how long can you go? Is there a time limit? You know what I'm talking about? Like some folks can just do it for 30 seconds and say, see, I just juggled. What, can you go for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20?
I'll eventually drop the balls.
Well, no, but like
in real life. Yeah.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah, like how long can you go? He's wondering.
Yeah.
Oh, I could, 30 seconds a minute. I don't know. I've never really timed myself.
But then you F up and you drop them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah.
well, you need to get better.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Before you try jogging, yeah.
Can you do any tricks like whip it around your head or underneath your leg or anything like that?
No, absolutely not. No. I wish.
You know what I'm taking away from this break? We got to go to commercial here in a minute. Jesus, we talked about the wrestling show. We talked about awkward moments. Talked about Dana's juggling skills and the modern sport of joggling. But what I'm taking away from this, I think, is the same thing that Josh has taken away from this conversation. Wapple's never seen The Jerk.
No.
I know. You got to take a look.
Yeah, I think I'm going to watch it today.
Bernadette Peters, 1979. It's going to change you, Wapple. Can we play the song when they're singing that song by the beach, Josh, with the trumpet? Because it's such a beautiful song. We've played that song before. I'm excited, Wapple, if you're really going to go ahead and watch that today.
Yeah, it looks like I can watch it for free on Roku channel.
That's great. Yeah, you're going to love it. I'll be sad if you don't like it.
Yeah, because
Yes.
when you look something up on the internet, it gives you other related stuff that you would probably like, and it's like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein. Ooh. I love all those movies.
There's some good ones.
Yeah. And I know a lot of you are saying, Tonight You Belong to Me, the first track on Paul Stanley's 1978 solo album, same title, different song. I'll get back to you on all this. You're a great crowd. Welcome to our Monday program. We'll have a lot of fun this morning. We'll be right back on the program.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Grace here, customer service rep at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Our customers are our top priority, whether that's providing same-day service or solving a cooling issue for that addition on your home. Ashley, tell our listeners about this month's AC specials.
Get started on your spring cleaning checklist now. With the weather warming up, it's the perfect time to get your AC tuned up with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get $40 off a furnace or AC tune-up, or double your savings and get $80 off when you get them done at the same time. Visit standardheating.com to save now.
Just Capital is a nonprofit that tracks which companies are a force for good. Companies like Bank of America, which just earned the Just Capital seal. Bank of America is ranked #1 for ongoing commitment to their workers, with initiatives like Sharing Success, which awarded 97% of their teammates additional compensation, nearly all in stock. This is the program's 7th consecutive year, awarding more than $4.8 billion in total. Visit JustCapital.com to learn how a just business is a better business.
Furnished by Just Capital.
Stupid news on the Half-assed Morning Show.
I'll be damned. What a way to start the stupid news here. Local. We get to start local. Stearns County people. Where are the Stearns County people in our listening audience? Nice work, because you've helped Minnesota make an appearance in our Stupid News Report. Not Japan, not effing Australia, not India. I always seem to head in those directions when we do the Stupid News. But today, Stearns County.
Let's hope this starts something. Wouldn't that be great? We could get a little more of these.
That would be special.
Come on, step it up, Stearns County.
This is just good old-fashioned fun, is what this is, to have some local flavor. Now, I'm not exactly sure who gets the credit as far as the town in Stearns County where this Stupid News story took place. The article just indicates rural Stearns County. It's all effing rural with the exception of St. Cloud. But anyway, here we go. Someone upped and called the cops about a person walking around with a shotgun in their hands in rural Stearns County this past Tuesday afternoon.
That's scary.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is, Ashley. It most certainly. The caller described the person as an elderly male carrying a shotgun. And the caller also said that when they drove by the guy in the motor vehicle, he tried to hide the weapon. So it made him feel, kind of iffy. They called the cops. A local cop drove up on the bastard, and the old boy told the cop he was just out for a walk, listening to music, while using his walking stick. When the cop confronted the guy about the shotgun and trying to hide a shotgun, he said he didn't have a shotgun. It was just his walking stick that he was using to play air guitar while he was walking.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
And when he saw someone drive by, he said he was embarrassed. So he tried to quickly hide his stick away.
That's
and
adorable.
The old guy was telling the truth.
That's totally understandable, too. I could see being in that situation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was telling the damn truth. That's the coolest thing I've heard all day.
I'd love to know what he was listening to.
Yeah, they didn't toss that into the report, Cubby. We don't know.
I know. If for some reason he's listening, I'd love to hear from you. Find out what exactly you were listening to.
Well, if he was an older guy, maybe it was Steppenwolf or what was maybe the Guess Who. I'm going to say it was Steppenwolf or the Guess Who.
Oh, boy, that reminds me of an old coworker. He was obsessed with the Guess Who.
Oh, that was my dad's favorite band.
Was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
does your dad also listen to Bachman Turner Overdrive?
Yes, he does.
Well, of course he does, and he's a good man for it.
Yeah, my dad would always play the joke on my grandma. He'd be playing Guess Who, and then she'd be like, "Oh, who is this?" And my dad, "Guess who?" I don't know.
Yep.
Does everybody do that? Because our former coworker would do that as well.
That's a classic, Wobble.
Yeah. That must be something the fans do,
Yep.
It's an all-timer. Tell your dad I went and saw Randy Bachman in concert a few years ago, and it was one of the greatest shows I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, it was so much fun. Anyway, we don't know what the old guy was jamming to, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stick with, in case we do get a phone call from the guy, I'm going to predict, you heard it here first, Steppenwolf or the Guess.
I'll throw Boston out there. Maybe a little Boston.
A little bit of long time?
'Cause there was something about you. Yes, there was something. That's my favorite Boston song.
It's been such a long time.
Well, why do you sound so redneck?
I don't know.
They were from Massachusetts. They were big city guys. Why did you make it sound like Roy Clark was singing a song on Hee Haw?
I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm from Minnesota, so I don't know why I sang it in a southern accent.
Yeah, everything about that.
Yeah.
Actually, you know who you sound. Speaking of old classic rock, you know who you sounded like when you did though. 'Cause there was something about you. You sounded like the guy from Blackfoot.
Let's give them something to talk about.
No, see, that's what's her name? That's
And by the way, you sounded just like her.
Or Molly Hatchet. That's what you sound. You sound like the guy from Molly Hatchet when you did the.
Oh, what was there?
Maybe that was the same guy from Blackfoot. I can't remember. Leslie West. Anyway, go ahead. You were saying something else?
No, I can't remember. What was their song?
What band are we talking about?
The last one you just said.
Molly Hatchet?
Molly Hatchet.
Flirting with Disaster?
Yeah, Flirting with Disaster.
That whole thing.
Yeah, that was on Rock Band.
It was on Rock Band?
Yeah, Rock Band, the game.
You know, one of my greatest personal accomplishments was back when I was a junior in high school. I went to one of our school dances. Terribly drunk, of course. Absolutely annihilated drunk. And without any warm-up or prior knowledge, I walked out of there, the high school air guitar champion.
That's impressive.
To this day, they talk about it at Wayzata High School.
I'm sure.
I didn't know going into this school dance that there was going to be an air guitar competition. I didn't know. But I just upped and won the sumbitch.
You were ready.
The song that I air guitared to was Shook Me All Night Long by AC/DC, which had me irritated. As a 17-year-old kid who was wildly intoxicated, I'm lucky I didn't get thrown out of there on the spot. It was like a warm-up to rock radio, Josh, because I guess rock radio program directors and high school dance DJs have that in common. They only know Shook Me All Night Long from AC/DC. You know what I'm saying? And I argued right away. I said, well, what song are we going to be? Because it was a competition. It was like they put like 10 kids up, and we did air guitar together, and there was one winner, and it was me because I was the best. I'm still one of the best air guitar players that you will ever see. But when the DJ said, oh, we're going to do Shook Me All Night Long, I said, oh, that's really original. Yeah, all the AC/DC songs up to 1988, the only one you know. I said, what about Walk All Over You, Flick of the Switch, If You Want Blood, You Got It, Ride On, Little Lover, you got to do Shook Me All.
Was it one of those things where the DJ's like, yeah, I know all those songs, or, you know, because every once in a while somebody would say, they'll email the station and say, you don't even know this song, you don't even know that song. It's like, well, we know them, we just, you know, the boss doesn't schedule it, that kind of thing.
No, the DJ, he didn't seem to know what I was talking. No.
I know this nerdy kid. He used to DJ all the school dances, right? And You Shook Me All Night Long was a big request they gave me.
Yes,
him.
Just like at a wedding reception. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Moving on with the stupid news. We got this effing guy now. We got to deal with this guy who got drunk and got caught whipping it at the damn movie theater. Oh. Word is he was watching the new movie starring Kristen Stewart, who I do find very, very attractive. I do. But you can't be tossing off at the... this happened in Michigan. Dude was arrested last week for allegedly tugging one loose during the movie. He's a 33-year-old dude.
Yuck.
Yeah, that is pretty gross.
Not the age, just what he was doing.
No, I knew what you were referring. Cops got a call from the theater about a guy who had fallen asleep during a screening of a movie called Love Lies Bleeding, starring that Kristen Stewart gal. Okay, guy had fallen asleep. When the cops got there, dude was still out cold in his chair with his gear out and his hand on his little acorn. Someone in the theater took a picture of the guy, and that spread around the internet like effing wildfire. If this guy has any friends, I'm sure they are having the time of their lives with this right now. If this guy has any friends, they are the happiest group of friends in the world, knowing that their pal had his picture spread all over the internet with his hand on his dong. Can you even imagine, Josh?
No.
What a gift from God that would be if one of your buddies had... Anyway.
Hopefully I don't have a buddy that would ever be in this position, but yeah, I don't even know where to start with something like that.
You'd probably just keel over laughing. One eyewitness claims that the guy masturbated while watching the movie, and then he went night-night.
A little nap afterwards?
Yeah. Here's a great quote from someone who was at the theater. They say, "We went to go see Love Lies Bleeding, and this drunk guy jacked himself to sleep." When the cops woke him up, again, pants pulled down, gear out, hand on his dong. When the cops woke him up, he was drunk. There were liquor bottles sitting next to the guy. I think I saw some of that Fireballs
Yeah, it looked like he had maybe 3 and then a couple of drinks next to him as well, aside from the bottles.
Yeah, he was hammered. And this is what you do when you've been caught with your balls and your penis out unconscious at a movie theater. This is what you do. You refuse to leave when the cops ask you to. I refuse to leave. No. The cops also found some drugs on him. He had everything you need for a night out at the movies if you're a guy. Hard liquor, drugs, his penis, his hand.
Kristen Stewart. Milk duds.
And a half a box of milk duds. He was arrested for everything. Apparently this new Kristen Stewart movie is what they call here a lesbian love story. So, word up. They say there's a lot of strong sex scenes in the first 45 minutes of the movie.
He just couldn't take it.
That sounds wonderful.
I just wait to stream it or something later on.
Let's all go out to the theater and watch it together. Just do what comes natural.
Well, for me, it's not going to be jerking off, especially with you guys around.
No.
Thank you.
That is not what comes natural to me.
And you know what, Ashley? You're welcome.
So dude wailed on it, and he got sleepy, and he forgot to close his pants before his lights went out. That's pretty sick, dude.
Yeah. He does look comfy, though. Tell you what, he's out.
Yeah.
He's definitely out.
But then we've gotten to a level now, as far as dudes and their peepees. This is just brutal. We got to start neutering some dudes. Some of you fellas are just so completely effed up. You can't help but use your penis as some kind of weapon, and I think neutering is the only answer. Either that or just lock them up for good. A former grocery store employee in Colorado. For Christ's sake, he's already been in all kinds of trouble over and over again for whipping off in public. Now he's been accused of tossing himself off on the food over there at the local grocery store.
Oh, come on.
He did. That's the point of the story, dude.
Stuff at the grocery store is too expensive as it is. Now we got to have this on top of it.
He's a former grocery store employee.
It's disgusting.
In Colorado. I think I mentioned that already. Yes, so he's been he's been accused of tossing off on the food. But do you see what I'm saying about the neutering? Obviously, owning a penis is somehow too much for some fellas to handle.
Some people should have to earn it.
You need a license?
Yes.
Earn that penis.
So we'll just have to start taking them away, taking the penises away. The name of this latest sick animal here, this sick F, is Stephen Masulta. Cops searched his house. They found videos of the guy cutting loose with the masturbating and the ejaculating on the food at the neighborhood grocery store.
That's even an extra level, right?
Yeah.
That he has to videotape it?
Was he
reliving it?
Okay, I assumed it was, security video and he got access to it, but maybe he was recording it with his own phone. I don't know.
I'd imagine he was
setting
recording.
up like a Ring camera, how influencers do if they record shop with me today.
Here's a listener right here texted in and said, you know what? This is I think he's putting himself in position, putting himself into character of someone forget it. I can't explain it. There's just no helping some people. Worst glazed donut ever is what the listener texted in. I was trying to explain that I assumed he was playing a character of a customer at that that's what I was trying to say.
I'd
Worst
avoid the
glazed
kumquats.
donut.
If you're there, do not buy the kumquats.
Yeah.
Getting kind of hungry.
You would.
Who here likes a good mystery?
Yeah, sure.
Of course.
You had one a minute ago trying to figure out what I was saying. This is a brand new mystery. I got one for you. And maybe one of you can figure it out along the way. I doubt it, but maybe. A dude in Nevada had a big mystery on his hands recently. More than 100 pounds of packaged sliced bread was dumped on his property last Monday, and he had no idea where it came from or what it was doing there.
This would be fun. I'm interested.
This would be fun if you were that person?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I guess I do like a good mystery then, yeah.
Who doesn't?
This is not his private home. He works as a funeral casket supplier. This is his place of business, which made it even weirder. 100 pounds of packaged sliced bread dumped on the property of the neighborhood funeral casket supplier.
That's expensive.
What is?
All that sliced bread. Groceries are very expensive now.
Yeah, that's
I imagine,
probably
yes,
worth
100
a couple of bucks.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
The bread was Kroger brand. It was expired bread. Some of it had mold, but they say here most of it looked fine. Some of the loaves were in boxes, but a lot of it was just in its plastic packaging, just sprayed all over the general area of this man's dumpster. The dude was confused, and he was concerned. He actually poked around. This is 100 pounds of bread. He actually poked around the piles of bread, looking to see if somebody was killed and buried in it. Now, you have to remember, this is Nevada. He said, the dude who runs the casket business, he said, this is Las Vegas. They find bodies in barrels all over the place. Maybe I thought one was buried in the bread. So he looked for a body. There was no bodies. He called the local grocery stores. He called Kroger's, the bread brand, and no one had any idea what the hell was going on or where the bread may have came from.
I can't get rid of it. I don't know how to get rid of it. It's just too much. They were thinking that I only talked about a little bit of bread, and I told them how much it was. And it was just, they just kind of laughed.
I bet you can make some good bird friends in the neighborhood, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Now, here's a guess from a listener on why was there all this bread dumped at a casket supplier. One of our listeners is guessing maybe that the bread was used to stuff the dead bodies.
Oh, yeah,
like
absolutely.
Like you're stuffing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. That's not it. In the end, does anyone have a guess? I mean, it's so obscure and it's kind of stupid, but...
No clue.
All right, fair enough. The dude from the, how did I say it again, funeral casket supplier there, who was totally thrown by all this, 100 pounds of bread on his property. He eventually cracked the case. A distributor came forward and said that they contracted a driver to handle that route and deliver the bread, but he dumped all the bread because he was mad and didn't want to go through the process of returning the bread to where it came from. Just a mad truck driver is the end of the mystery. The driver called the local television news to explain himself, I guess, and said that drivers are told to dump unsold bread off at churches and nonprofits, and if they can't find anyone to give it to, they should dump it anywhere. I doubt that's what he was told.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he was just an angry truck driver and dumped it wherever he felt like it. Okay, dude. My God, what is going on now? Oh, yeah. One of my favorite all-time bits. Grown folks playing cop. Love it.
There's no shortage of them these days.
Not at all, no.
People pretending to be something that they're not is very common these days, but it's just that the fake cops bit, that's my favorite. So a fully grown adult woman in Tennessee was allegedly playing pretend FBI agent. And while she was playing make-believe, she attempted to close down a Waffle House because she knew that the Waffle House workers were selling drugs out the back door of the restaurant.
Oh, no.
This was inside information that only a highly trained FBI agent would be privy to.
I am an FBI agent!
The gal living in imagination land, she goes by the name of Kimberly Gonzalez. She's 60.
I feel like that's old enough to know better.
Yeah.
She came barging into the Waffle House a few days ago. She told everyone there that she was there to shut the joint smooth down for all the drugs they were selling when they weren't busy making waffles. A Waffle House employee naturally asked Miss Gonzalez to haul out some identification. She showed that employee a notebook with a badge design on it.
See?
As if that should be good enough. Are you following what I'm saying by that?
Like a
notebook. Well, she didn't draw. That's what I thought originally. No. Like the cover of a notebook. Like years ago, the Timberwolves gifted me a big fat notebook, and it said NBA on the cover. Mm-hmm. That didn't mean that I had any affiliation with the... This gal just happened to find a notebook with a badge design on it. And that was supposed to be good. When the employee kept on the crazy lady's ass to pull out an actual badge, she refused. What, are you trying to tell an FBI agent how to do their job?
Yes.
A real cop stopped by to check this deal out, and Miss Gonzalez stood strong with her silly made-up story that she worked for the FBI. But she was arrested. And the Waffle House workers can now go back to selling hard drugs out the back of the shop.
Good.
Does seem like things go down at the Waffle House.
They definitely do.
Yeah.
I just assume there's drugs being dealt.
When you apply to work there, they request to see your fighting videos first to make sure that you can throw hands.
What? Are you serious?
Say that one more time.
No. I was joking because that's all I ever see about the Waffle House is there's videos of like the people that work there. Like, you don't mess with Waffle House workers. Mm-hmm. They'll put you in your place.
They've seen everything.
Yep.
You were so convincing in your argument.
Good.
You want to hear a joke, Josh?
I love jokes.
Back to the bread dump at that casket warehouse, or wherever the hell it was. The guy who ran the joint thought maybe there'd be a dead body buried under the bread. A listener says being buried in bread would be crummy.
He's toast.
All right.
Something's awry.
Oh, my God. I think we're up to the final here. For Christ's sake. It went by so fast.
It did. Mm-hmm. We cruised through it.
And we've moved a long way from Stearns County. We started in Stearns County. Now we're in a friggin' town called... I can't even say it out loud. But I have to.
Why?
Why what?
Why can't you say it out loud?
Because it's just so irritating. we started in Stearns County. Now we're in a town called Nottinghamshire.
Fancy.
God, I can't stand the way the English operate. It's just frustrating. Here's a story of a thief over there that screwed up. And it cost him. Dude, this is kind of an original scam, original plan, I guess I should say. He cut a hole, not in a box, before anybody gets fired up. He did not cut a hole in a box, which is, what step is that?
Step one.
Is that step one?
That's step one.
If you're going to play D in a box, step one is cut a hole in the... This dude cut a hole into a museum floor, the underside. So he could come up from down below and steal expensive museum things. Another thing that's very English. We here in America, we got way more cooler stuff to steal. But in England, where do they go? The local museum. How boring, right? But anyway, this guy comes up from under the museum, cuts a hole in the floor so he can steal expensive museum things. And he was able to grab this and that. But where he effed up was he didn't cut the hole big enough to get a certain item out of there. So he had to leave it behind, and that one item apparently had his DNA chunks all over it. So that's how the cops figured out who he was, and they arrested him.
That's awesome.
The thief's name is Graham. Some folks insist on calling him Grant.
Why would they do that?
It is weird.
But just this past week, Grant was sentenced to 2 years in jail. That damn DNA gets more people in trouble, doesn't it, Josh?
It does. Mm-hmm. Whenever they invented that was good for cops.
And now they can find that DNA on every damn thing we come in contact with, right?
Was it CSI? I forget which channel. When they picked up CSI in syndication, there some guy's getting dragged by a bad guy in the middle of the woods. The bad guy spits or something like that, and then the guy getting dragged goes, they can test for that.
That's funny.
Those commercials were really good.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Is that a rocket launch? Yeah, I got to cut off what I'm saying. If we're looking at a rocket launch, do we know what rocket that is? Is that a SpaceX? That's cool. Look at that. That's unbelievable. That is apparently Falcon 9 from SpaceX. That's very cool. Look at that.
Live long and prosper.
What the hell was going on there?
There was a SpaceX launch.
Are there live human beings inside that damn thing?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
In that one, the SpaceX Falcon 9 launching from Kennedy Space Center during a Met spring training game.
Yeah. They were having fun with that.
Huh?
They were having fun with that.
Yeah, it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, my buddy worked on that rocket.
No, he didn't.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
What do you say about it?
He said it's a rocket.
So it's a good rocket?
Yeah, it goes really fast. Goes up to the sky.
You don't have any
it goes
buddies.
in the sky.
I'm watching the game there. Yeah, the Metropolitans spring training game from Florida. Next thing you know, there's a rocket in the sky, and the announcers, they said, "What the hell is that?"
That was pretty cool. They were talking about, wow, it's crazy how far cameras have come nowadays. Like to zoom in so close on it and get that shot. Looks so cool.
I'll tell you what, Wapple. No one can argue with that right there. No one can argue with that. Everyone got your bracket, okay? They got the teams announced for the March. You got your bracket, huh?
I have one.
I got one.
Yep.
Everyone's got one?
Everyone's got a bracket.
We'll fill it out. They got the thing happening, the NCAA men's basketball tournament. It's all been announced. They'll start tomorrow night with the play-in games, and Golden Gophers aren't in there anywhere. But they are going to play in the NIT tournament. That's kind of cool. Some more basketball for the Golden Gophers. Hopefully they can win a couple games in the NIT. Golden Gopher hockey got beat over the weekend by Michigan, so say goodbye to any Big Ten tournament trophies or anything like that. But they'll get the word up here in a handful of days on where they're going to fall into line in the NCAA tournament.
Nick, did you watch the women's Gopher hockey game?
I was at a big fat-ass 50-year-old beer party, a 50-year-old birthday party. It was on the television, but I didn't watch much of it. It went 11 overtimes
You
or
would have
something.
needed 4 hours to watch it. It was ridiculous.
I did hear someone at the party say, well, is this game still on? There's like, because it was going on for...
It was crazy.
They lost to Clarkson, so they're all done. The Golden Gopher ladies. Wolves play tonight in Utah. The Vikings made a deal or two on Friday, Saturday. Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder will be here in about a half hour to discuss all this. Stay around, though. Josh's News is coming up next.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act. They're a nuisance.
93X.
Grace here, customer service rep at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Our customers are our top priority, whether that's providing same-day service or solving a cooling issue for that addition on your home. Ashley, tell our listeners about this month's AC specials.
Get started on your spring cleaning checklist now. With the weather warming up, it's the perfect time to get your AC tuned up with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get $40 off a furnace or AC tune-up, or double your savings and get $80 off when you get them done at the same time. Visit standardheating.com to save now.
Business has always been about turning a profit, making money. But can it stand for something more? Something beyond dollars and cents? We think so. We think that today, business has a higher calling, a purpose to be fair and just, to do right by their workers, customers, communities, and the environment. And it turns out companies successful doing that also do better for their bottom line. When you see the Just Capital seal, it means this company is a force for good. Visit justcapital.com to learn more.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
I can't tell you for the life of me what made her go under there, why she went under there.
This is a tough one. A 21-year-old worker at a Georgia golf cart plant died after her arm got pulled by a conveyor belt as she reached for one of her AirPods. Her co-worker said when Alyssa Drinkert first dropped the earbud under the belt. She told her she could get it for her once it was safe to do so.
She walked up to me. She said, "Dang it, I just dropped my AirPods." And I said, "Where'd you drop them?" She said, "Well, one fell down there." And she had her other one. She clicked her case, and she was like, "Well, I'll just get some more."
Then the co-worker said only moments later she saw the machine trap her colleague's arm. Maintenance quickly shut down the machine and took it apart, though first responders had to cut through a metal frame to get her out. Sadly, she died the next morning due to those injuries.
God dang.
The plant is used by Club Car, which makes golf carts and other commercial utility vehicles.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, they had thought they were going to shut this thing down and then she'd go, but I guess she just went for it. Maybe she didn't realize it was still going. I have no idea. At least 16 members of a California sheriff's office were injured in an explosion Wednesday at an FBI training facility. The Orange County Sheriff's Department says the SWAT team was there, training inside the FBI Regional Tactical Training Facility in the city of Irvine shortly before 1 p.m. when the blast occurred.
The device was part of the train. As far as what they were doing when it happened, that I don't know.
One officer suffered a leg injury that did require surgery. 2 others ended up with superficial injuries to their backs.
We have medical plans in place, and they were activated immediately because the safety of all our members is our utmost anytime we hold a training like this.
Officials said the remaining 13 reported dizziness and ringing in their ears. The group had been conducting its annual joint training exercise with the sheriff's hazardous device section when the incident occurred. Details surrounding that explosion and its cause are being investigated by the FBI. Thankfully, no one was hurt worse. Could have been bad. A northwestern Minnesota man was arrested Saturday after leading law enforcement on a chase before intentionally ramming into a squad car. Officers were patrolling when they saw a vehicle stopped at an intersection. That vehicle didn't move. After some time, the 52-year-old driver started driving again, signaling a turn, but didn't. Police tried to pull the vehicle over, but it sped off, reaching speeds over 100 miles an hour. A state trooper and a deputy put out tire deflation devices, but still the man drove for about 8 miles after hitting them. He tried to hit a Bemidji squad car head-on, but the officer was able to maneuver the squad to avoid a head-on crash. He was, however, hit on the side. The suspect then drove his vehicle into the ditch and was stopped shortly thereafter.
What the hell was his problem?
I don't know. I mean, you could guess, I suppose, if he kind of passed out there at an intersection. Luckily, no one was too hurt. The driver did get injured a little bit. They brought him to the hospital, checked him out, and then brought him to jail. Wapple, you're familiar with going to jail for a short amount of time.
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
A woman and her vehicle ended up in the Pacific Ocean after a wild pursuit through Los Angeles.
Whoa, damn, bro. Oh, it's rolling over, dude.
Trying too hard to be a Californian, that guy.
No way.
A large crowd had gathered to watch the chaos unfold, some taking video which showed the silver SUV completely submerged with the woman treading water as onlookers shouted words of encouragement.
It's not worth it. Go to the boat. They're going to help you. They're going to help you. You're not in trouble. Woo!
She is in trouble. The woman was seen swimming a fair distance away from where the vehicle ended up, but a Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department boat quickly located her. What the woman was wanted for and where the pursuit started were not immediately known. Then in Colorado, a parolee with a warrant was taken into custody following a police pursuit over a snowy mountain pass which had been closed due to an avalanche. The chase ended thanks to a Colorado Department of Transportation snowplow driver who used his truck's blade to hit the fleeing suspect's car head-on. Police thanked the driver for protecting other drivers from the suspect's vehicle. No injuries were suffered in that accident. A man's in jail after allegedly threatening to shoot up an Ohio trampoline park over free wristbands. 37-year-old Darwish K. Darwish was arrested just before 7 p.m. Saturday, March 9th at Sky Zone.
Pretty name.
It is. I like it.
Yeah.
This was in Westlake, Ohio. Police say Darwish K. Darwish was in a group of 2 adults and 2 children upset over the number of free wristbands the park handed out and told a Sky Zone employee he had a gun in the car and was going to use it.
Got to be locked up is what he's got to be. He's not safe to be out there in the community.
They have to have fun, and somebody's going to come in and mess up everything.
It's outrageous. I mean, you can't go anywhere nowadays and feel safe.
Keep him in jail. Close the keys and keep him in jail.
When police
that first gal that you played there, Josh, doesn't it suck when right after you take a hit of helium, someone puts a microphone in your face? Right after she took some helium, they asked her to comment, and that's embarrassing.
The news had a deadline. They had to get it on. They couldn't wait. When police are...
Her speaking voice is unbelievable. I got to hear that again if you have the time.
Yeah, hold on one second.
Yeah.
Got to be locked up is what he's got to be. He's not safe to be out there in the community.
They have to.
You had to be there, I guess.
When police arrested Darwish K. Darwish, they found 2 firearms in the car. Darwish K. Darwish was charged with aggravated menacing and will be arraigned in court this week.
Darwish K. Darwish.
Do you guys know anyone whose first name is the same as their last name?
No.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why would their parents do that?
Yeah, make it easy on them.
It's a thing. It's like a thing in other parts of the world.
Oh.
You have to be a worldly person like yourself to understand like myself, I'm sorry, Ashley, to understand these things.
I had looked up some common names in Minnesota just to see if Darwish would be on the list. I didn't see Darwish, but I did see the most common name list in Minnesota. Last name, that is. Johnson, Anderson, Nelson. Not necessarily a surprise.
No,
those 3 on that.
Yeah,
list.
those would be the
My
guesses.
boyfriend's basic.
Well, we know
he's one
that.
of those?
Yeah.
His last name is what, Darwish?
Yes.
2 students ate psychedelic mushrooms at a California middle school Wednesday, causing adverse reactions, which did require medical attention. The administration at Cope Middle School in Redlands said the students consumed a chocolate bar containing the quote-unquote magic mushrooms. After learning about the situation, the school called 911 and the pair were treated when an ambulance arrived at the scene. The school's administration urged families to be mindful of the snacks brought onto campus. The compound found in most psychedelic mushrooms has been decriminalized in Oregon and Colorado, but not California. A substitute teacher at a Wisconsin high school is charged after having a sexually explicit conversation with and in front of students.
Gross.
40-year-old James Worley worked as a substitute teacher for a woodworking class at the Altoona High School last month. Students said Worley was having a conversation at the front of the classroom loud enough for the entire class to hear, and police, parents, and students say it was disturbing. He made statements about snorting cocaine off of a hooker, described multiple sexual explicit acts, asking students if they knew what iglooing or snowballing were. One student told police Worley taught 2 kids how to give a man oral sex.
Good Lord.
Walking them through the process step by step. He also allegedly told students the lowest age he'd date, 14.
Nope.
Hey.
Students walked out of the class because the conversation made them so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
A video recording of the incident was given to police and transcribed in the criminal complaint. It reads in part, male voice, a little nipple torture right there. Boy voice, I don't know. What are you talking about? Male voice, bite down on it and see what happens. Yeah, get donkey punched in the side of the head. Or they'll be like, oh, what's up? Keep going. Yeah, don't stop.
What's going on with this dude?
I'm scared of him.
Well, you know what it is, and it's kind of surprised you guys didn't realize this. He said he has a dark and dirty sense of humor.
We just don't get it.
He said it's guy humor.
He's a funny guy.
Locker room talk, huh?
I'm following this now.
Yeah.
I get it. He's a funny guy.
And apparently some of the students said, he was talking in a way that he wanted other people to hear what he was saying as he was having a conversation at the front of the class.
We know the type. We do, don't we, Cubby?
We do, unfortunately.
That is one filthy woodshop teacher right there. We had filthy woodshop teachers, but filthy just in general. You know what I mean?
Covered in sawdust.
They need to bathe,
unwashed and frightening look. I told you the most famous shop teacher at my school looked, way too much like Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That's scary.
It was fun.
I don't have a story that good, but our woodshop teacher was named Mr. Woods.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it seemed pretty appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
That'll F you up.
A Florida man was arrested after he allegedly touched an EMS paramedic inappropriately while being taken to the hospital.
Well, did he think he was seconds away from dying?
I don't think so.
One last squeeze in before the lights go out? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. He had foot pain, and he said he was bitten by a bug. Well, I'm assuming he was going to survive.
Odds are he knew he was going to make it, okay?
Yeah.
That's different.
Apparently, 34-year-old Frederick Day was strapped into a stretcher with a, quote, noticeable erection showing through his basketball shorts.
It's all from that bug bite.
The report goes on to show Day was touching himself inappropriately while an EMS paramedic took his blood. The paramedic told him to stop and take his hands out of his pants, and that's when he attempted to reach for the victim's leg.
This guy really likes the ambulance.
The victim told Day not to touch them, but Day looked into their eyes and continued touching himself inappropriately and then touched the victim's upper thigh. A lieutenant of the fire department saw the interaction and stated Day continued to try and touch the victim by removing medical equipment that was in the way and even unbuckled himself from the stretcher. He was booked and charged with battery on a specified personnel.
He didn't really have a bug bite, did he, Josh?
I doubt it.
Nope.
I doubt it. He just wanted to touch someone inappropriately.
Yeah.
His insurance isn't that good. You can't do something like that. A 45-year-old Tacoma man's behind bars for trying to walk out of a store without paying for a bottle of alcohol and a couple of burritos, not realizing there were a couple of officers directly behind him.
Oh, I love that.
Once they realized what was happening, one of the cops told them to stop, but the customer refused, and that's when the officer grabbed that customer's arm to stop him from taking off. The customer then realized it was an officer holding on to him and asked police for a break. Police refused. They weren't going to let him get away with it.
No, yeah, the rule number one about stealing burritos and booze is know your surroundings, head on a swivel.
It is National Awkward Moment Day, and here's one for a flight attendant who accidentally bumped a switch in the cockpit, which is the likely explanation of how a Boeing 787 Dreamliner went into a terrifying mid-flight dive last week. Oh, that would suck. Thank goodness.
Opening.
Oh, no. 50 people were injured last Monday when the flight between Australia and New Zealand suddenly dropped, throwing passengers and crew into the cabin ceiling. Some people were really hurt. U.S. industry officials said the plunge was caused by a flight attendant hitting a switch in the pilot's seat while serving a meal, inadvertently activating a motorized feature which pushed the pilot forward into the controls.
No.
I don't need to hear this stuff.
The switch, which does have a cover, is not supposed to be used when the pilot is sitting at the controls. A spokesperson for the airline initially said the jet suffered a technical event during the flight, which led to strong movement, but declined to comment further until the investigation into the incident is completed. Oh, jeez.
No bueno.
A swarm of honeybees forced a California Highway Patrol helicopter to remain grounded Tuesday in a possible sting operation. Sorry. Normally, H-70 does the rescuing, but today H-70 had to be rescued from a swarm of bees, a social media post from CHP said. A local beekeeper responded and relocated the bees. Officials said it was unclear why the bees chose to swarm that helicopter in the first place. Then a helicopter in the Philippines managed to avoid a bee attack, but it was forced to make an emergency landing after getting tangled in a kite string. After the unscheduled landing in a parking lot earlier this month, the pilot said the kite string got caught in the top portion of the control propeller.
An airplane got caught? What?
A helicopter. Did I say plane?
No. Oh. I just, we can't have helicopters and airplanes that can be grounded by a stinking kite string, can we?
Local residents didn't seem to mind. In fact, some of them were so enamored with the ordeal, they took selfies with the helicopter, which wasn't damaged in that kite incident.
Now, does it make anybody else nervous?
It makes me nervous, yep.
A stupid kite string.
That's it.
A Florida homeowner shared surveillance video of a man in an Amazon vest replacing a package with an empty box. Just before 1 p.m. March 5th, Anthony Grant said he was awaiting delivery of his new cell phone when the switch happened. His doorbell camera captured a FedEx driver delivering the phone, taking a photo as receipt of the successful delivery. Then about 15 minutes later, someone else approached his front door. Video shows the FedEx package being replaced with an empty open box by a man in an Amazon vest before he ran away.
It's less likely for them to be in a neighborhood watch to be noticed if you're in like a delivery outfit and you have a package in your hand. Most people, they just see you and probably wouldn't think twice about it. The outfit looked convincing.
It's my new cell phone now.
I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
When you report it to AT&T, iPhones have an IMEI number, and they can block it. They can track it if it gets turned on also, so it seems kind of silly to do that when you really can't use the phone, Grant said.
I'd like to track you if you get turned on. I'll tell you that right now. I would.
Adding he likely will avoid getting phones delivered to his home in the future to avoid something similar from happening again. I wonder why the thief chose to put an empty box there.
instead of just
grab it.
Just grabbing it and leaving?
Maybe he thought it would buy him some time, where
maybe,
somebody
I don't know.
Maybe to confuse the neighbors if they were watching him.
Sure.
Oh, good call. I'm so stupid. That's exactly it. Good point. Good point.
You ever have something delivered to the door and you see it sitting out there, but you're too lazy to go get it and let it sit there for 4 or 5 hours?
All the time.
All the time.
So maybe it was just an attempt to buy time, or like Wapple said, if the neighbors were looking, they wouldn't think anything was.
That's got to be it.
Squirrely.
I knew the answer, by the way. Just testing you morons.
If that was his plan, that's very smart. That's very smart.
A customer service manager at a Las Vegas grocery store allegedly stole $142,000 in cash over 3 months. On Friday, March 8th, police responded to a call at the Smith's Food and Drug Store, where the store's customer service manager, 40-year-old Mackenzie Gillis, allegedly robbed them blind. An audit conducted between December 22nd and March 8th revealed more than $142,000 stolen. Gillis stated she would take $100 bills from the self-checkout machines and then proceed to an area where the safe is located. She stated along the way she'd stop in another area where the cameras didn't see and then conceal the money in her clothes.
They got a lot of money hanging around there, huh?
Yeah. It took them 3 months to realize it. She admitted to the theft when another employee confronted her.
$140,000, you said?
Yeah, $142,000.
That's life-changing.
Yeah.
We don't have that kind of money laying around this building.
No. I'd love to see how much the petty cash drawer has. I bet it's very petty.
Yeah.
Very petty. Just cobwebs.
It's not cash, it's coins.
Jerry Cantrell of Allison Chains, 58 today.
I'll be damned.
Happy birthday to Unlucky and Wisco Jesus. Happy 53rd to SoCal, to Minnesota, back to SoCal Jesus. And happy birthday to Goat Truckin' Jesus, turning 39 plus 1 years old today. And that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
It was the hardest wood I had ever touched.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
I'm openly calling out any wrestler on the Ironheart Pro roster. Let's see if you've got enough to take me out of the ring. Come and get some.
Dude, he ain't kidding. Here's the deal. Brad Ryder, Randy Shaver. What's going on, boys?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Nice to have both of you. We have to jump right into our special guest this morning, though. He's waiting on the damn telephone. I think he's waiting on the telephone, isn't he?
There's the thumbs up from Wapple.
Great show over the weekend, from what Josh tells me. Great live wrestling show down there in Rosemount. And our special guest this morning was part of that show, which was for a terrific cause. It was to raise money for the families of the first responders who were killed a couple weeks ago in Burnsville. They put on this show to help those folks out. And there you heard in our intro, the mayor of Farmington throwing a challenge out to any of these damn wrestlers. He'll whoop their behind at the show. It happened Saturday. Josh was there. He loved the show. He met the guy. And the mayor has agreed to come on the show real quick and say hello. The mayor of Farmington, Josh Hoyt. Hello, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning. How we doing?
Good. Thanks for joining us.
We're doing great. And, yeah, like Josh said, we appreciate your time. I mean, it's a big city down there in Farmington. You're a busy guy.
I appreciate it. Farmington's the center of the universe. But
that's right.
I get to live out two childhood dreams in one weekend. I get to crawl into a wrestling ring, and then I get to be on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned. It's wonderful to meet you, and you know, like I said, Josh was at the show and he loved it. It sounds like you guys had a great time and you put on a great event.
It was awesome. I felt bad because I passed Josh and I, like, we crossed each other, and I was frantically trying to meet up with everybody, and he had that look in the face like, oh, I don't think he realizes who I am. So I had to find him a little bit later, and I felt bad about it.
Well, yeah, it was more like I saw you. I knew you were busy, and I just said, hey, you know, Mr. Mayor, good luck out there. And you were very polite and said thanks a lot, and then that was it, you know. And then it was nice enough, you were nice enough, that is, to come say hi before your match. And I was telling the guys earlier, you could do this for a living if you want. You know, we've heard so much that you're not a very good mayor. But you are a really good wrestler, and your mic skills are solid. You were really funny. You looked the part. You were obviously very athletic, and it was so impressive what you did out there. And it was such a good cause, as Nick started sang, and it was nice being in a place where there was so much support for law enforcement and first responders. You could feel it from everybody there, and I'd mentioned it earlier to any first responders listening. I wish you felt that more. I wish you could have that feeling that we did in that building Saturday night, because the whole event was great. And Ironheart Pro Wrestling, those guys were a lot of fun. I didn't know what to expect, but they put on a great show.
Yeah, they did. It was phenomenal. I mean, anytime you're on the non-televised wrestling circuit, you're not quite sure what you're going to get. And I think it was a culmination of a lot of great things for a great cause, and it went off, I think, better than anyone expected. I mean, we ended up raising $22,000 plus some donations that are still coming in. We had a lot of first responders in there watching, people watching wrestling for the first time, and it was a great show. They laughed. Hell, people thought I died in the ring when it
You sold that. I was talking to you on the phone yesterday. You sold that so well. I was asking my wife, like, is he okay? Because it did look like you got hurt. What was that move? Was it a tombstone pile driver? The heel of the show got you with Creed?
So Garrison Creed, the move that he used is called the spine buster.
Okay.
And you know, like with any wrestling, it's all about the sell, right? It's how you can take a bump. But back in my Marine Corps days, when we were off shift, there was a boxing ring at the local gym, and you know, we were all huge fans of wrestling. This was like when the WCW, WWF Monday Night Battle stuff was going on.
Late
but
90s,
we used to go to the
early 2000s,
Yeah, we used to go to the boxing ring and throw each other around, and so you learn how to take a bump. And I got mic skills. I can take a bump. I can do it in the ring. So, yeah, game on.
Yeah, you're confident. Maybe with Josh's support, you could become a.
Real quick, I wanted to ask you, just for people that don't know what you look like, you're a big guy. Do you mind sharing your dimensions so people can?
You mean like Pete Alonso type of a big guy?
Big guy, big strong guy.
Yeah.
So I mean, the fact that you were able to do what you do is even more impressive, and the fact that Garrison Creed was able to lift you up was impressive.
How big of a boy are you?
6'1", 230.
Word?
Yeah, so it was. You looked the part. You sounded the part. It was so much fun.
Yeah. See, one of my questions. We're talking with the mayor of Farmington, Josh Hoyt, who was involved in this great charity show, wrestling show over the weekend. One of my first questions was going to be, was this really your first time taking bumps in a wrestling ring? But sort of the answer is no. You had some prior experience when you were in the military.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've not been in a formal event before, but you know, I've definitely done a lot more than what most guys our age have done in their lifetime, and you know, rolling around at the buddy's house watching WrestleMania, and you know, a couple of cocktails and throwing each other into bed.
A couple of beers, you start beating your friends up, and of course, you got to have some skills on the mic. I mean, you're a politician; you got to be able to talk to people, right?
Absolutely. And you know, you're talking about size and stuff. At 6'1", 230, you know who else is a similar size and stature as me?
Who's that?
Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's got the ESPN show.
Oh, right. And he's
like an announcer at some of the wrestling stuff.
Mm-hmm. He's an announcer at some of the wrestling. So you know, it would be a really good match. We could do it promotional for a good cause. Let's call out Pat McAfee and get his ass in the ring against the mayor from Farmington.
Dude,
let's get that done.
That would be awesome.
Yes.
If we could make that happen somehow, or you got more power than us. If you could make that happen somehow, that'd be great.
We'd be there.
I mean, they're coming to town in July.
Yeah.
We can make a few phone calls, get on that Twitter. I mean, Mayor Hoyt, I would be in your corner, absolutely 100% in your corner, because as far as I know, you are not friendly with Karen Rogers. So you know I would support you over Pat McAfee any day. Let me, speaking of first-timers, Mayor Hoyt mentioned there were some fans there who had never seen a wrestling show, and that sounds so cool that, you know, you guys got to give them their first experience. This is a text message from a listener who was a first-timer, and here's what they said. The wrestling show was awesome. The heel's name, as we covered, is Garrison Creed. He slammed a guy right in front of me to the ground for touching him as he was walking up to the ring. He then dropped a Jared Leto Joker-looking wrestler on his head. Then he dropped the mayor on that stack of dimes he calls a neck. I thought, oh my damn, the heel has done broke the mayor. Then during intermission, he was cussing out 15-year-old kids. Now I can see why you and the Muppet, in reference to Wapple, get emotional watching WrestleMania reruns. I've always thought wrestling was fake, and I still do, but it was really cool that people can get wrecked like that. They have a new... He closed out his text by saying, they have a new fan in me. Look at that. You guys won over a brand new fan.
Oh, that's awesome.
How about that? Yeah. The thing about wrestling is I don't want to call it a script, but there is a plan, right? There's certain matches that are made and things that are supposed to happen. But when you get in the ring, it changes. You have to play the crowd. You have to play... everything that's happening, injuries happen, things don't flow the way they want them to, and you just have to roll with it. But Creed, he is absolutely a heel. When you talked about him pushing the guy in the front row, that's my buddy Dan. And, Dan's got a TBI, and Dan didn't know. House show, they don't have barricades. And so Dan just kind of slapped him on the back because he's like, hey, let's go.
Yeah.
And Creed straight up jacked him over the top of the chair.
Oh, jeez.
Dude, one of our cops was sitting right behind him. I thought he was going to jump up and take him down. We're like, hold on a second. This isn't good. This is not good.
I thought the same. You know what, Mayor? I thought the same thing. That pissed a lot of people off. Right?
Oh, yeah.
He didn't realize that he had a disability or anything like that, but the people that are around him did look like they were ready to take Creed out.
Oh, they were ready to. They were pissed.
You never know what you're going to get. That's the beauty of live professional wrestling. Well, we're very happy that the event went so well. We're very happy you got a hold of us because we were talking about you last week and rooting for you and hoping we could get a chance to chat. Hey, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, now you know a guy. Now you know a powerful guy if you guys just decide to get squirrely in Farmington.
makes me want to move to Farmington.
Yeah, do we
just
get
down the road?
One free pass, maybe, Mr. Mayor, something like that?
Hey, everybody's welcome in Farmington. Come on down. Let's go.
I hear you, man.
There's only one moment, and I shared this earlier with my coworkers here, and I'm really hoping that nobody noticed this. So there was a time we were sitting right by the speakers, so at times it was a little tough to understand what people were saying. And as I mentioned, there's a couple emotional moments. The Farmington Color Guard out there, the singing of the national anthem, and then the organizer of the event had asked folks to honor the officers that were there. And so there was only a small group of us in a place where there was so much support for law enforcement. A small group of us stood up, to honor them and clapping. I'm kind of looking around.
What's the matter with everybody?
I'm like, well, where's everybody? My wife's like, she asked the first responders to stand up. And I felt like the world's biggest douchebag.
Secondhand embarrassment
so
for you.
I slowly sat down. I thought, oh no, I hope people didn't notice that. And she did say, we just look like you were honoring the folks standing up, but it was not my time to stand up.
A little bit of awkwardness there.
That sucked. That sucked big time.
That can happen, Cubby.
That's crazy. It was just, it's an amazing event. And like Sarah said, it's unfortunate that we have to do this at all, right? It just sucks that we have to put this stuff together because of what happened in Burnsville. And she had made a statement that we need to show our support for our first responders every day. And I call it the inconvenience of gratitude. You have to show up when people aren't around. You need to show appreciation when there's not a crowd, when there's not a radio show, when there's not an event. Like, go out of your way for your veterans, your first responders, for your nurses, all the people that make the world work, and just show some appreciation. Don't wait for the tragedy to happen. And, it was an amazing event. We raised a ton of money for the families. It's a feel-good, but, we don't want it to wear off.
Sure.
We need to carry that enthusiasm every day.
Very well said.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We back that 100%. And, again, we're so happy you got a chance to join us this morning. We do get a lot of text messages. We have gotten a lot of text messages the last few days talking about you, Mayor Hoyt, and then we've gotten some more this morning, wondering when you're going to put a grocery store in Farmington.
I knew it was going to come up, and I was hoping it was going to come up because we've had this conversation since 2019. And the harsh reality of the city of Farmington is we're a community that a lot of people live in. We're working on employers and building our workforce and all the things. We don't have a grocery store because the money doesn't work. It comes down to dollars per square foot. And the smart people in the business have figured out that it's not quite time yet. And so, we want one. We need one. But the business side of it doesn't work yet. And somebody's going to come along and they're going to throw one in and it'll be fine. But in the meantime, it sucks. it's a pain in my ass, for a lack of better terms. But.
We can tell by the text we got. Maybe you should call out the CEO of Hy-Vee to a wrestling match or something like that.
There you go.
And when you win, they got to open something up.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing. That's a great idea. Forget about McAfee, whatever his name is. Yeah, wrestle a grocery store manager.
I'm just a vessel. Whatever it takes, I will do whatever I have to for all the causes and all the things. And
it seems that way.
I know what I signed up for, but
tell everyone in Farmington we said hello, will you?
I will, and you said Shaver's coming on. He better lead the story with the Farmington boys basketball team making state
first
for the
time
first time since 37.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You better be talking about that.
Congratulations. That is awesome.
Is that a factor? The first time since 1937?
Yeah, I actually covered that team back in 37.
When you're
Randy
first in your start.
Well, absolutely. When we'll be talking about the boys basketball tournament, we'll be getting into that later in the week. So good for the Tigers, right, Mayor? The Tigers?
Absolutely. The Tigers knocked off both Lakeville teams to get to state. So, yeah, take that one.
Suck it, Lakeville. Yeah, we hate Lakeville.
No, we don't.
Thanks, buddy. Hopefully we'll talk to you and run into you again soon, maybe at another wrestling show.
Absolutely, anytime. Thanks,
Mayor
guys.
Josh Hoyt from the state-bound Farmington Tigers. He's the mayor of that friggin' town. Great show, huh, Cubby?
Yeah, it was awesome, and he was so cool to talk to.
That's awesome.
It really was. If they do something like that again, I hope everyone gets a chance to go.
Seems like a really cool guy.
Wouldn't that be something if, let's say, the guy has higher political aspirations? Wouldn't that be something to have a wrestler governor?
That would never happen.
No, that could never happen.
It seems unlikely, but how about that?
Wouldn't that be unique?
Speaking of television wrestling, I heard that The Rock lit up John Morant on an episode of how do you call it, SmackDown the other night. He was in Memphis, right? Yep. And so he's got to dump some lines on the regional lines on the crowd, right? Mm-hmm. So he made a joke about John Morant. It was pretty fun. He was singing a song or something.
You're simply an embarrassment, son. Just like John Morant when he's waving a gun. I love you, John.
I do like The Rock is playing the heel right now.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's
very
cussing
fun.
and everything.
I haven't spotted him yet. He's back, though, right? He's wrestling at WrestleMania?
Yeah, that's the plan.
He was going after Seth Rollins. You're an embarrassment, son, just like John Morant when he's waving a gun. Before we go any further, how about we get the text machine cooking? Because speaking of all this wrestling, you can text BELT, B-E-L-T, BELT to 651-989-9393 for a shot to win tickets to WWE Monday Night Raw, July 29th at XL Energy Center. And thank you, XL Energy Center, for furnishing the tickets. There you go, wrestling fans. All right, lots going on, gentlemen. Brad Ryder, Randy Shaver, how was your weekend?
Good.
Very good.
You get into the green beer?
Not really, no.
I hear you. I was completely oblivious to yesterday being St. Patrick's Day. But that's basketball. Okay. I can go after it next year. Yeah, basketball. Here we go. We got the brackets. Everyone's got their bracket. It's time to fill out your bracket. The thing starts tomorrow and on from there.
Yeah, fun.
Number one seeds in the men's NCAA basketball tournament, the upcoming tournament. The number one seeds, Connecticut.
Yep.
Houston.
Yep. Even though Iowa State knocked them off.
They did.
Yeah, they did in the Big 12 or whatever tournament it is.
Another team, well, the last two number one seeds also got knocked off in their concert tournament. Purdue, who got knocked off by, how do you call it? Don't tell me.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. I told you not to tell me.
He did say that.
Yeah, I blew it. And North Carolina, who lost their conference tournament to North Carolina State.
Yeah, that team won 5 consecutive games to win the tournament.
Wow.
5 nights in a row, NC State won games.
They're calling it a miracle run by NC State. They were not a team that was expected to make the tournament without them winning their conference.
They would not have.
And there were about 4 or 5 of those teams that did that, which then inevitably knocked out teams like St. John's and Pittsburgh and Oklahoma, all these teams that that had great resumes to get in as an at-large team, and there wasn't room for them because of what happened.
Well, the ironic part is one of those teams we're talking about is Richard Pitino's team at New Mexico, so he may have knocked his dad out of the tournament.
Yes, absolutely.
You guys should have seen the degenerate's house I was at this weekend. He had 4 TVs set up with like all these basketball games on, but he normally has 7, but he had to move them so that people had someplace to sit. It's like, what is going on?
You know somebody who has 7 TVs?
7 TVs.
Along the same lines as Pitino, Dan Munson did the same thing at Long Beach State.
I was going to bring that up. Well, you know that
He
whole
just got
story, don't you?
fired.
He got fired on Monday, and he won the conference championship over the weekend. And he decided to coach. He decided to coach his team. That was the most ironic part. But I know him a little bit because I was there when he was here.
Yes.
I was with the Gophers, and he's got that attitude like, you're going to fire me? I'm going to coach the team. Yeah. And he did.
And they won their conference tournament. They're in the NCAA tournament.
Right. I'm under contract. I'm going to keep coaching.
That's hilarious.
Okay. And then they went on and won the tournament.
2 former Golden Gopher coaches there, Richard Pitino and Dan Munson, will be coaching in the tournament. And Munson's story is very interesting. Yeah, they canned him.
Yeah.
They told him, as soon as you're done with this season, you're gone.
Well, and they really thought he wasn't going to go anywhere in the conference tournament.
99% of coaches would have packed their bags and left, but he's like, okay, well, I'm going to finish this thing out.
Yeah.
We'll get into the tournament here tomorrow, the next day, the play-in games start. We'll get further into it and who you guys think might have something to say in the long run. It's a long process, so we'll talk more about. I got a good Dan Munson story. He used to live in Wayzata, just a few houses down from me.
Yeah.
When he was coaching the Golden Gophers, and I'm at Sunset's Bar, right on the lake in Wayzata.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's called Cove, but at the time it was Sunsets, and Dan Munson was there with a bunch of his buddies, and this was the night that they signed a letter of intent from Rick Rickert.
Oh, my gosh.
Out of Duluth, Minnesota? Was he not from Duluth?
Duluth East.
Duluth East. Now, Rick Rickert, if you're a younger person, you don't know, he was the hot shot coming out of high school basketball here in the state of Minnesota. It was a big deal that Munson and the Golden Gophers got him to come and play basketball, even if it was only for one season.
They kind of stole him because he had verbally committed to Arizona.
Okay, that I don't remember.
And then he decommitted and committed to the Gophers.
So that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And he and his buddies were partying their asses off at Sunsets when they landed this Rick Rickert. So I'm sitting there, and I didn't really want to bother the guy, but I thought, well, maybe it'd be cool to talk to him on the air the next morning. So I went over to his table, introduced myself, and he agreed to come on our show the next morning. But like I said, these guys were partying their nuts off. And I told him, I said, 6:30, how does that? Yeah, well, I could come on at 6:30. The next morning when I called, he gave me his phone number. The next morning when I called, it was like, da-da-da-ding, da-da-da-ding, da-da-da-ding. And the phone picks up, and I hear this.
Oh, God.
Hello. And I said, Coach Munson, it's the radio guy. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. What time do I go on? I said, about 5 minutes, dude. He was in pain.
Oh, I love that.
But he got it done. All right. We were just talking about the teams that got snubbed, the teams that just barely missed the tournament. Unfortunately, one of them was Indiana State. And if you've been listening late, you know not only this program, but a lot of people all over the country fell in love with a player from Indiana State because of his appearance and because of his level of play. The guy that they nicknamed Cream, Abdul-Jabbar. He will not be playing in the big tournament, but Indiana State is playing in the NIT. So is the Golden Gopher men's basketball. They got invited. They play Butler on Tuesday night. Now, a friend of mine texted me. This is my buddy Dougie, who just turned 50 over the weekend, so he knows what he's talking about. Doug, I didn't look at the bracket yet, but Dougie says if the Golden Gophers beat Butler and Indiana State wins their very first tournament game in the NIT as well, we will get to see the Golden Gophers play Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That is correct.
Is that correct, Randy?
That is correct.
Dougie, you were right.
Doug, he does know what he's talking about.
He is a massive, massive Golden Gopher sports fan, so I think he's pumped about that. That'll be great. So we got to have the Gophers and Indiana State win that first game in the NIT. More on the tournament? We can save it for tomorrow, the next day when we get a little closer into it. Okay? I mean, one little note-ski here, kind of surprised. Well, it's not surprising. Never anymore can anyone say that a coach's firing is surprising.
No.
It's been done to death. You know, the littlest hiccup, well, we're going to, what's the word they usually use when a coach is, we need a new...
change of scenery.
Culture.
That's a big one nowadays. There's many different ways to say it. But nowadays they usually, we need a change in the culture. They make up all kinds of reasons to fire coaches because you can't can the players. But still, to see Juwan Howard get fired from the University of Michigan is notable because he's one of the greatest basketball players to ever.
Yep.
And he's done fairly well. They have a down year. Well, we got to gas the coach. It's just so stupid. Oh, here's the latest verbiage that the athletic director at Michigan used. The basketball team is not trending in the right direction. See, in the old days, you give a coach some time to dig his way out of a hole. No more. You don't do that anymore.
But one of the deals, though, Nick, is that because of the transfer portal and the NIL, this is like an instantaneous thing. It's not like you build a program over time. That scenario is gone.
Even before the NIL, that scenario was gone.
Yeah, but it's a lot more that way now. When you have a bad year like this, the chances are you're going to see players leave.
I know.
And you may
know.
not get players. It's a tenuous deal.
I know. It's ridiculous.
At least their 80 waited until after they lost in the conference tournament to do it. At least they were smart enough to do that.
Yeah.
What do we got going on now? I hear you, Brad Ryder. I do. The Wolves play tonight in Utah. They won Saturday night.
Yep.
Rudy Gobert was gone, and they still won.
I don't know. Get him back.
The Dallas Mavericks are the first NBA team with an emotional support animal. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, it's cute.
Look that up on the internet. The Dallas Mavericks have an emotional support animal. It's a 2-year-old mini Bernedoodle.
What's a Bernedoodle?
I'll take a stab.
You'd love it.
Oh, is it like a Bernese mountain dog mixed with? Oh, okay.
So check that out. She's
she's
very cute. Golden Gopher hockey got beat. The dudes, they got beat in the Big Ten tournament over the weekend by Michigan, so now they're going to sit around and wait and see where they're seated in the NCAA tournament. Golden Gopher ladies had a 4-overtime game in their NCAA game against Clarkson. Lost.
Yeah.
4 overtimes.
Wow.
I mean, what the shot total at the end of the game was Golden Gophers outshot Clarkson 64-56. But their season is over. Speaking of shots on goal, Division III men's hockey quarterfinal. Division III men's hockey tournament. They had a 5-hour game where a goalie made 98 saves.
Oh wow.
That's beer league numbers right there.
Yeah.
98 friggin' saves.
That's beer league numbers over a weekend.
Well, no, you never played beer league hockey, Randy Shaver. There's not a lot of back checking or a lot of defense in beer league hockey. We had goalies that straight up lost their friggin' minds because none of us got in the way of anything.
Nope.
Go ahead. You're the goalie? Stop it. 98 saves in this Division III men's hockey game. I mean, it was, at one point, this goalie stopped 61 shots in a row.
Wow.
Is he that good, or are they just that bad?
I don't know. I mean, well, they made it to the tournament, so they must have.
Suppose.
It was just a Hobart. The schools were Hobart and Curry, in case you're curious. I've never heard of either one.
Talk about two teams that don't like each other much.
Remember that scene from Slapshot where Denny Lemieux comes back to the locker room and he's just convulsing from all the shots that he faced? You know what I mean? He just, he's spitting all over. The goalies just, they don't get a break.
That's the most saves in a game since watching Miracle and watching Jim Craig save all those shots in the third period.
Exactly. By the way, this is according to a listener, the River Falls Ladies Division III team, hockey team, won the national championship over the weekend. That's according to, if you want to look that up, that's a listener tells me that.
Congrats.
Oh, yeah, Brad Ryder, you're taking the words right out of my buddy Merzo's mouth. The first time we went to go see Miracle, and after the movie was over, I said, what do you think? And Merzo said, well, because he's old enough to remember, he said, I don't really remember that Jim Craig had to make 87 saves in the third period alone, but I didn't know this was happening, but it happened over the weekend. Very emotional. Mike Modano had a statue unveiled out front the Dallas Stars Ice Arena.
That's cool.
Oh, wow.
So it's just he and the German Moses. Dirk Nowitzki have statues out front that arena now.
Dirk was a hell of a hockey player.
Yes.
He was.
God, he could skate.
He could.
You wouldn't want to get in the way of a check either.
Yeah.
Skates, too.
7'8" in skates.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? I wish I would have known that was coming. I would have tried to find it on the internet or something, because Mike Modano's, he's Mike Modano.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest American-born players. And I just had a conversation with the guy a couple weeks ago. If I would have known it was
here now.
Yeah, I talked to him at the American Legion of Wayzata. Good for Modo. All right, tell me about this Vikings thing. Should we be playing with ourselves here or what?
What, getting the pick?
Trade. What happened?
Well, I think if you read all the discussion that's out there about what it means, I think it's pretty apparent that they're going to trade up, likely in the top 4 picks, to take a quarterback. They're going to have to add probably more than just the 2 first-round picks they own for this year. They may have to throw in stuff from next year as well in order to make it all work, but it looks like they're going to make a play for a quarterback in the top 3, top 4. Whether it's McCarthy at 4 or Drake May at 3, that seems to be what they're attempting to do. So,
I think that's obviously their plan A. They would want to do that. I think their plan B, if they can't find somebody to do that, would be maybe to let the season ride out with Darnold and then, take those 2 picks and get 2 good players.
I don't think they're doing that, though, Brad, unless they've talked to teams that are in the top 3 or 4 and said, what will it take for us to get there? And then have learned what it will take, and then they have a plan in place, I think, that they've discussed with teams already.
Yeah, they probably have.
Yeah. You don't do something like that unless you've got a clear idea that this is going to work. Because they did give up a lot on the backside of that trade. So,
all right,
it's crazy to me the Vikings have never taken a quarterback in the top 10 in the draft.
Well, they haven't been in the top 10 of too many drafts, probably in their history, and they're because they've been mostly just decent to successful. Yes, correct.
We haven't had too many just absolute garbage pile seasons.
That's
so
you
don't find yourself
except for after like Les Steckel's year.
Yeah, there've been a few.
Like
sure.
There haven't been a lot.
No.
So.
Some of those GMs they have been talking to, though, I will say, and I don't know any of them, and I don't know who they've been talking to, but now that they've made this trade, they may say, oh, okay, well, now that you're in position, now we want this instead.
Exactly.
It's a game.
Well, and like I said, it's going to take more than just those 2 picks.
Sure.
They're likely going to have to give up something next year, whether it's a first or another. Who knows? But obviously they have that draft formula that decides what each pick is worth and all that kind of stuff. They're in discussions.
Yep.
No doubt right now.
Yep.
Sam Darnold's going to have a great season. Again, you heard it here first. Sam Darnold's going to have a great season. Listen to this now. Josh, you went to Farmington for one night. We have the mayor on the air, and now everyone thinks this is the Farmington Morning Show. I got a text. We talked about the basketball team made it to the state tournament for the first time since 1937. Got a text from a listener. You should talk to the coach from the basketball team. This is not the Farmington Morning Show. We talked to the mayor. Isn't that good enough for you people in Farmington? You give it? Yeah. Another guy wants to sidetrack the show. My buddy MJ. Yeah, whatever, MJ. We'll put the show on hold for you whenever you want to.
I'm going to get in trouble for my Egan buddies if I don't mention that they made the state tournament too. So Yeah, everybody's in the state tournament.
Boys tournament.
Boys basketball.
Yep,
Why
and
that's the number one seed, though, Nick. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Whoever they are.
The defending state champions.
Are they really?
Egan never makes a state basketball tournament in boys. So.
See, MJ texts me and says, give a shout out to my niece. She's qualifying for regionals in gymnastics, competing down in Iowa. Everyone wants to hijack the morning show. Good luck, Aria, MJ's niece, and I'm sorry you got to be related to that prick. Oh, he says, I'm sure Randy Shaver has beautiful gymnastics. He has a beautiful gymnastics routine. Do you know how to do gymnastics, Randy?
Oh, I used to do that back in the day.
Did you really?
Really?
No way.
Back in elementary school. I was elementary and middle school. I was a gymnast.
I bet.
Could you do like the splits
the
and stuff
pommel
where you're
horse.
really flexible?
I didn't. No.
Wait a minute. You're being honest with us?
I am being honest.
You did the pommel horse?
Yes.
Where you run up on it, you launch yourself, you land on your ass.
That's
whatever.
cool.
You twist around on the horse.
Did you wear a leotard?
Oh, no.
He wore the required uniform. What movie,
The old
Josh?
short
What
gym
movie?
shorts.
I forgot.
You wear tights or wear the required uniform? Come on, Brad Ryder, you're an 80s guy. Tights.
Yeah.
It's the Breakfast Club. Further football stuff. The New England Patriots signed K.J. Osborne. Wait a minute. The Chicago Bears traded for Justin Fields and they have Russell Wilson?
They traded away Pittsburgh you're talking about.
What did I say?
You said
Pittsburgh
Chicago.
traded for.
Let me start over again. The Pittsburgh Steelers have Justin Fields and Russell
Yes,
Wilson?
they do. Yes, and they traded their starting quarterback to Philadelphia.
Right. Well, who do you
Wilson's going to start. Wilson's going to start. They've come out and said
Fields is going to be their
Wilson's
guy
gonna
down
start,
the road.
and Fields is going to back him up.
All right, that sounds like fun.
And Chicago didn't get much in return for Fields.
They really didn't.
It's like a 5th-round pick or something.
Yeah.
So everyone
they said they turned down better offers because they thought it would be better for Fields to go there. Better for
And I
his
think
career.
they turned down better offers because some of them were in the division.
Oh.
You got both Justin Fields and, how do you call it, Russell Wilson. Look at this now. Breast Bandit Jesus. Can I get a shout out for getting my kids to school on time? Everybody wants a shout out. Speaking of Russell Wilson, so everyone's waiting for him to dump, a cute catchphrase into the mix. He's got a new team now. Will he say, let's, what were the ones we were hearing last week?
Well, for the new ones?
Let's weld.
Yeah.
I guess, but all he said on social media was, what's up, Stiller Nation? I'm fired up to wear the black and gold. Here we go.
What's up, Steeler Nation? Just signed, baby. Fired up to wear the black and gold. Here we go.
Yeah, see, that was him right there.
Dork.
He didn't, but he didn't, what do you mean? He didn't do any dorky stuff.
The sound of his voice just irritates me.
He's a flake.
He's a badger. You can hate him.
He is polarizing.
Polarizing. Aaron Donald retired from football.
He did.
Everyone's supposed
Great
to
career.
fall down and
At
touch
only
themselves.
32.
Quarterback's rejoicing.
Yep.
Was he that damn good?
Yes.
Oh gosh, yes.
I never really paid attention.
He was the second. I was reading. I think he is second to John Randall in the most sacks by a defensive tackle in the history of the NFL.
It was pretty funny. Kyler Murray said, "Thank God." When he saw him retire.
Yeah.
He had a lot of sacks. He had a lot of Pro Bowl appearances. He had a lot of this and that. Aaron Donald.
He's going into the Hall of Fame with Jason Kelsey. They'll be both going into the
Which one's Jason?
5 years.
One that just
He's
retired.
the lineman, the center.
Oh,
the
so I'm going to
Eagles.
skip that show. Well, he did his thing, that Aaron Donald. Some folks are saying now he wants to go into acting. He wants to go to Hollywood.
He's already there.
As top 5 greatest defensive player in the history of the NFL, and then go be an action movie star, which I think he'll probably do next.
Yes.
He would be amazing. He's good at basically everything, so that makes sense.
Was that Jason Kelsey?
That was Ian Rappaport.
Hollywood action star, Josh. What do you think? You watch a lot of action movies. You're kind of an aficionado of action movies.
I could see him doing it. I mean, you don't have to necessarily be quite the thespian to be an action star.
True.
Brian Bosworth made it.
Yeah, the Boz.
Who we missing? Well, you can go way back and say, well, I mean, not necessarily action stars, but guys who got into acting. Merlin Olsen, Bubba Smith, Howie Long to a certain extent. I never watched any of Howie Long movies because he did try some action movies, but I read it's some of the worst stuff you could possibly imagine.
Fred Dreyer.
Fred Dreyer was a great actor. He really was a solid actor.
He was on a couple TV shows. Yeah.
Can we count pro wrestlers? I mean, I know they do some acting in the ring. So
why not? I mean, I guess, yeah,
Dave
go ahead.
Bautista can be pretty funny.
Yeah. And you guys like The Rock. You like
love The
Cena
Rock.
and all. But specifically football players, Brian Bosworth underrated as an actor.
I love him in the Dr. Pepper commercials.
Yeah, he's funny. But the movie, was it Stone Cold, Josh? It was called Stone Cold.
Yeah.
He's not bad.
Not at all.
And that's not a bad movie. It's relatively decent. You had to be there, I guess. Aaron Donald. We'll see how it plays out there. More text coming in. Listener says, not to brag, but Goodhue won the state tournament in girls basketball, and their boys also made the tournament. That's dairy cow feeding Jesus. I watched a little bit of that game, the Goodhue girls. I did. I was just.
Yes.
They had a couple gals that looked D1 ready. I mean, man.
I tell you what, that 3A, is it 3A or 2A? I think it's 2A.
2A,
Providence and Albany. Oh, my gosh. What a great game.
There you go.
It was such a great game. There were some really good tournament games over the weekend. Fun games to watch.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of that Goodhue club. They were very, very good. Now everyone is texting in their favorite football player turned actor with the Dit Butkus and the O.J. Simpson and the Terry Crews and the Terry Bradshaw.
Alex Karras.
Alex, if I didn't say that already.
Mongo.
Right. Alex Karras was Mongo in, how do you call it again, Blazing Saddles. And then someone else texted in, Ronald Reagan was an actor.
He was.
Yeah. True.
Well, yes, everybody friggin' knows that.
What about
Jesus
Brett
Christ.
Favre and his performance in There's Something About Mary?
Yeah.
That was not a performance.
No, that was not.
Oh, he still gets awards for that.
Ed Marinero.
Sure.
Yes.
Really, I didn't know this.
Hill Street Blues.
I didn't know this. Eddie George made a...
I think he was.
Okay, here it is. Eddie George had a split-second scene as a soldier in a Steven Seagal movie.
Oh.
I didn't know that. Thank you, Catfishing Jesus. Yes, we mentioned Bubba Smith already. Okay, Carl Weathers.
Oh, duh.
Burt Reynolds.
Bubba Smith on Married with Children, where he played Spare Tire Morris or Spare Tire Jackson or something. He was the...
Brett Favre in a movie.
You got a head injury or something?
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It sounded better the second time. To be honest, Randy said it better.
Actually, to answer your question, yes. The answer is yes.
Not only did we just talk about that, but you just blatantly interrupted me talking about Bubba Smith. That was like having...
I'm not listening to you.
That reminds me of when we used to have dinner with my grandmother before she checked out. She would just blurt things out. Cannon Falls. And then, what about Cannon Falls? You know? Bubba Smith as spare... Look it up. Can you look it up? Spare Tire something. He was Al Bundy's high school football rival. And then they would meet up periodically later in life because Bubba Smith's character was a janitor at the high school that they both went to.
Spare Tire Dixon. Cannon Falls.
And they had these great moments where, if you're a Married with Children fan, you remember they had a final clash in the hallway after they were over the hill. You know, it was very, very funny. I'll give him a lot. Joe Namath, sure. Cam Neely, kick his ass, Seabass. Yes, thank you for that friggin' line again. Okay, what do we have time for here? Brett Favre. Yes, thank you, Great Grandpa. Can someone get Great Grandpa his medication and just put a little bit of Cool Whip on top of some Jell-O? That'll keep him occupied for... Another weird and terrible story regarding Tyreek Hill, who plays football for somebody.
Miami.
All right. Wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins, Tyreek Hill. Let's see if I can cover all this now. This guy's quite an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, he filed for a divorce from his wife, what is it now, March, a couple months ago. And then he stepped forward and got on social media and said, well, that's all a misunderstanding. He's not really divorcing his wife. A week after that, okay, this is the latest story. It's been found out by the Miami Herald, the local newspaper down there, that a week after this divorce announcement was made, the cops were called to Tyreek Hill's house because he smashed smashed an unlit cigar in his wife's face.
Oh.
Speared it around in her face. It was unlit.
At least it was unlit.
And the story says he was angry because she wouldn't sign a post-nuptial agreement. Now, he says he flicked a cigar at her. He denies smashing it into her face. The cops said they didn't notice any marks on the wife's face or body. There was no signs of a struggle in the house, so there wasn't anything they can do. And then, if you remember, stuck in the middle here was another story from a model who was hanging out at Tyreek Hill's house. And she says that he broke her leg while they were playing football in his backyard. Like he had, the original story I read, she alleged that Tyreek Hill had some kind of temper tantrum and pushed her over and broke her leg. This guy, I don't know what's going on with this guy. But he sounds
like he needs the season to start soon.
Yeah.
I wonder if Kansas City saw some of this stuff, and that's one of the reasons why they
good question.
Sent him on his way.
Yeah.
Maybe there were some underlying things or some things that happened that never made the media that gave them pause or concern, and felt like it was probably a good time to
he comes off
trade while he had value, a lot of value. But get rid of a potential problem.
Well, I think he was he wasn't real pleased about being second fiddle to Travis Kelce in the receiving corps either.
True.
I think it was probably both. It was probably a combination.
The bottom line is that the stories about this Hill paint him out to be a little squirrely. I was feeling a little squirrely too, Josh.
When was that?
When I watched that gal.
Oh, the first pitch?
Throw out that first pitch.
Oh, she's stunning.
That's one of the prettiest ladies I've ever seen in my life.
She's so adorable.
Absolutely.
The
stunning.
LA Dodgers were playing a damn spring training game, and they had a Korean ballerina. Is that what
this is over in Korea. They're opening the season on Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. against San Diego.
This Wednesday morning?
Yes. Yeah, they're playing two regular season games in South Korea, Wednesday and Thursday against the Padres. So they're both over there right now playing exhibition games leading up to Wednesday's season opener.
A good 2 weeks before anybody else plays.
It's a good week.
And then that'll give them time when they come back to the States to get accacclimated to,
Okay, maybe this is a dumb question, but why? Why are they playing in South Korea?
Because they're playing in front of South Korea. It's a Major League Baseball
to
thing.
expand the game globally.
And the only way they could do that is at the start of the season, because if you try to do that in the middle of the season, as Brad just mentioned, it takes too much time away to get yourself back into. It's not like you can. Football can do it because they only play once a week.
A lot of times they give that team the bye week after they come back.
And all of this is keeping us from talking about the Korean lady. Jesus, you sound like Brent Musburger and.
Why? We're just explaining it. We're putting context to it.
I lost my cool, and I apologize.
First of all, you didn't even know they were over there playing.
Well, who gives a rat's ass where they're playing? I don't care about anything that you just said.
He's distracted by the images.
I don't care if the Dodgers and Padres start the season on Mars, for heaven's sake. Okay, fine. They're in South Korea. I thought they were. It doesn't matter. But they got some gorgeous Korean ballerina to throw out the first pitch. And she's just, like Josh said, absolutely stunning. The video is fun for a lot of reasons, but they do cut over to the Dodgers bench, and the boys can't help themselves.
No.
They look like cats on a wire. You know what I mean? Just staring.
They are mesmerized.
They're mesmerized by this gal. Now,
even looking at each other going, are you seeing this?
Yeah.
Is this for real?
No way.
Is that a real human being? She's that gorgeous, and she throws out a wonderful first pitch. Jesus Christ. Randy, I'm sorry. I got, so there you go. That is, we got a couple weeks yet, don't we?
Last week of March,
No,
I
it's
think.
next week.
Yeah.
It starts
Yeah, they
next
start early.
It starts Thursday of next week.
What do you call the team we have in town?
Yeah,
Yes.
they play
Twins.
at Kansas City.
Next
in Kansas
Thursday.
City. Yep.
Yes.
Wow, F me running sideways.
Think it's must win?
Oh, yeah.
That first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right then. You boys did great. You did.
Brett Favre.
I'm serious,
Seoul,
man.
South Korea.
I'm serious. That was weird and concerning.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing if it was 10 minutes ago. Josh, what did you say? Maybe a minute and a half went by?
Yeah, it was about
close.
a minute.
Yeah.
It was about a minute. Yeah.
Yes, great grandpa. It's going to be okay.
Oh, my God. Stop it.
Sit down. Can someone help Grandpa sit? Well, I hope we got more of that to come. Because that was fun.
It's only going to get better. He's only going to get older.
Yeah. You're not going to get any younger.
Oh, my God.
All right, then. We'll talk to you guys soon. Appreciate.
All right.
Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder on their way out, but we'll be back in a few minutes here on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Grace here, customer service rep at Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Our customers are our top priority, whether that's providing same-day service or solving a cooling issue for that addition on your home. Ashley, tell our listeners about this month's AC specials.
Get started on your spring cleaning checklist now. With the weather warming up, it's the perfect time to get your AC tuned up with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get $40 off a furnace or AC tune-up, or double your savings and get $80 off when you get them done at the same time. Visit standardheating.com to save now.
Every week, Michael Rosenbaum is getting deep with someone new on the Inside of You podcast.
Let's get inside of Shelly Hennick. So Obliterated's on Netflix.
I had the best time.
That's
it was
great.
challenging, but it was like the showrunners.
That doesn't always happen. Everybody's trying to make a show and you're not.
This was a
it's
dream.
no fun.
Genuinely. And
That's
if it wasn't,
beautiful.
I would just keep my mouth shut and talk about something else.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
it
like,
was.
hey, it was fine. Because I've done that. I've asked people and they're like,
Yeah.
Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, wherever you listen.
They want to glorify the fact that they're criminals. It's dumb. These guys are dumb. They deserve to be tossed under the jail just for being dumb.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
All right, for cripe's sake, yeah, Monday morning, it's 8:31. You guys know what's going on. It's Monday morning. You're a great crowd. Who's over there on the other side of the room? Ashley, Wample, Dana.
Hi.
You three have a lot of problems.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
The way Josh and I see it, the three of you have a lot of problems. And here's one of them. All three of you have celebrity worship syndrome.
Yeah.
Celebrity worship syndrome.
Dana admits it.
I'll admit it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Celebrity worship syndrome.
I think you do. I mean, it's tough because it's a laundry list of problems, but if you think about it, you do have that one.
I definitely do. I'm not going to try to even deny it or defend myself.
Yeah.
Who would be the top three?
Ooh, top three.
Ooh.
They have to be living. Is that okay, Josh,
yeah,
if they have
fine,
to be living?
Probably.
Or very recently deceased.
Bruce Springsteen, Vin Diesel.
God, that second one is so stupid.
I know. I can't help it. Oh, God, a third one.
Anna Kendrick?
Yeah, maybe Anna Kendrick for sure.
I knew you were obsessed.
Yeah.
Throw a gal in there.
Yeah, just to save face a little bit by not throwing Nick Cage or something. I'll throw a babe in there, too.
Well, you. I bet if you didn't, let's say we didn't allow babes, you'd probably name one of those schmucks from that stupid Jackass program.
Do like Johnny Knoxville quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I'm that bad.
You have celebrity worship syndrome. See, that's what they say, right, Josh?
Yeah.
They deny it.
You're worse off than Dana.
Yeah, the first step to...
The first sign is denial.
Yeah. The first step is admitting you have a problem,
Yeah, you
actually.
do. You got CWS, I'm sorry to say.
Because I don't think there's any celebrity where like I've seen like all of their films or like need to see all their films.
That's the second trait of someone who has celebrity worship syndrome.
So
Ashton
Kutcher walks by and you're just like, nah, whatever.
Well, I used to be really into him,
All right,
but
give
not
us
so
your
much
top
anymore.
three.
I think you'd cry if he walked by. If he walked in studio, I think you'd cry.
Yes.
I might melt.
Oh, you would tremble and cry because you have celebrity worship syndrome. So give us your top three like Dana did that you'd want to meet. They have to be living or, as Josh said, very recently deceased.
Or on their deathbed.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
They could be dying.
Seth Rogen.
Oh, God.
Michael Cera.
Michael Cera.
And Charlie Day.
All right.
Michael Cera. I mean, funny dude, but I don't.
I love him. I don't know what it's just there's something about him.
She's into dorks.
Yeah.
She's into dorks.
Especially Charlie Day, actually. You know what? Yeah, I'll admit that I have. What did you call it again?
Celebrity. Josh, tell her what it is.
Celebrity worship syndrome. It's kind of funny you pretending you don't remember what it's called.
about Charlie Day, for sure. Oh my gosh, I love him. He is amazing, and Always Sunny in Philadelphia, especially.
Wobble.
Boy, who would I want to meet? Probably Will Arnett. I'll throw him on there.
That's a good one.
Matthew McConaughey, because he smokes weed, and I feel like we could have some fun there.
All right, you want to smoke? Go ahead.
Boy, who would be?
So far, I'm shocked. So far, I'm shocked that you haven't named a wrestler yet.
I was just gonna say.
What's the matter with you? Who is this character? Who is this person we're talking to? He hasn't named a wrestler yet.
Probably Chris Jericho.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I would love to meet Chris Jericho.
I'm surprised you didn't name all wrestlers.
Yeah, me too.
If Chris Jericho put me in the Lion Tamer, that would be good night. I could die a happy man.
You'd need a fresh pair of shorts.
Yeah, I would.
He puts you in the Lion Tamer, you get a boner.
Yeah.
It would make it even more painful.
Yeah, that would hurt
For
a lot.
him.
Yeah, that would hurt a lot.
You see, you got to each their own, but see, I certainly have certain famous people that I very, very much look up to. Actors are the lowest on my list.
Yeah, that'd be mine too.
I do not have the same feelings for actors as I do for athletes and musicians. I just think there's a hell of a lot of actors, some of you might have named them, that really don't have too much to offer. Script reading amateurs, you know what I'm talking about? They're script readers, some of them.
I don't get starstruck nearly ever. But you're right. If I am, it's somebody who I respect for being so good at what they do. Like the most starstruck I've ever been was a YouTuber who does audio production videos. So like most people have never heard, I'm going to say 99% and more have never heard of this guy, but I watch all of his audio production videos. I've learned a ton from him. It's this British dude. He lives in the Isle of Wight.
My God, you're a dork.
I know. And my wife for, I think it was an anniversary present, got me a Zoom lesson with him on audio production, and I was completely starstruck.
That's awesome,
I could
Josh.
barely form a sentence. I couldn't believe I was talking to him. But yeah, if Matthew McConaughey walked in, it'd be cool to see him and all, but I don't think I'd be starstruck.
No, see,
I guess for some reason I didn't think of like other people other than like people you see in movies. When I hear the word celebrity.
It's another trait of someone with
Because if that's the case, then I would replace
you can't do
Seth
your list
Rogen
again.
and
You
Michael
can't do it
Cera.
again. You can't go again, can she, Josh?
No, you already went.
Yeah, you already went. I guess all I'm saying is I do get aggravated by people who just worship actors because I think acting requires, if we're talking about, different ways to get famous, of course, influencers and dopey YouTube people, I'm throwing them, they're not even in the conversation, in my opinion. But acting is the least talented group of people if you're lumping them in with musicians and athletes. So I get a little aggravated when someone is a little too goo-goo over an actor.
Yeah, I think they're probably more, maybe I'm wrong, but obsessed with their characters, which obviously they most likely didn't develop or write or anything like that.
You have months to prepare for your role as to where an athlete performs on the spot. Sure, they practice, but it's improvisation. Musicians, sure, they practice, but you see a guy or a girl do something live with an instrument, that grabs me. Those will be the people that, if I had celebrity worship syndrome, you won't find an actor on my list. I'll go with those, with athletes and, musicians.
Not even Stallone?
I love
Okay, I'd be starstruck if I met Sylvester Stallone.
But if he gave me a top three, I don't know. I think if we're just talking a top three, Sly might miss the cut. He might miss the cut.
I'd do some crazy things to me, like Max Kepler.
Mac, I would also do
That's
crazy
very
things to
attainable,
Max
by the way.
Kepler. If you think you'd do something crazy to Max Kepler, wait till you see what I do to him. Sure, there are exceptions. There are actors that I really, really love, but I'm just saying. You know, I mean, look at television people versus radio people. What do the television people have that we don't have?
Money.
What else?
Good looks.
You're missing the obvious. A friggin' script! Randy Shaver thinks he's a friggin' big deal. What does he do, Josh? He reads cue cards.
He reads a strip. You're right.
I could see you.
Let's be dicks about this, you guys. Let's be dicks.
I can see you absolutely loving to meet Andrew Dice Clay or something like that, though.
Well, sure. I forgot to lump stand-up comics into that mix.
Yeah, I think no offense to actors, because there's obviously a difference between a good actor and somebody who's not. There's some talent in there. You mentioned Matthew McConaughey. I rewatched the first season of True Detective. My God, he's incredible in that.
So good.
He's so good. But you're right, like a comic, you know, the majority, if not all of them, write their own stuff, right? And just the delivery is so important.
Absolutely.
Which I guess you could throw into acting. All right, I take that part. But the the writing is, I mean, it's stellar in some cases.
Stand-up comedy is an interesting
it's so weird
topic. If you want to, I mean, I guess what we're doing here is, at least what I was doing, was trying to gauge, you know, who's got the most talent out of these, you know, real, honest to goodness talent between actors, athletes, musicians. Stand-up comics is an interesting entry into the conversation because there are stand-up comics who are absolutely brilliant people, where the 20 minutes of their show, they come up with stuff that most of us couldn't come up with in 1,000 years, right?
Yeah.
But there are a lot of comics, a lot of really successful comics, who, in my opinion, are just garbage. It's a funny thing, isn't it? You got the brilliant. There's the highest and the highs and the lowest of the lows when it comes to stand-up comedy, in my opinion.
And some of them, they're just charismatic. It's not necessarily they're funny, but you're right. Some of the real smart ones, their material's so good. U.S. Navy retired Navy Jesus says that he thinks Nikki Sixx is an awesome bass actor. There's probably a whole list of that out there.
Yeah.
I do like that when sometimes like a lead singer will throw on a guitar and you can tell it's not plugged in and they don't even really know what they're doing. It's just a prop.
Yep.
All right, celebrity worship syndrome. Dana has it, Wapple has it, Ashley has it. They're not alone. This is a brand new term that I don't know if psychologists are using it, maybe, to diagnose. It's a new term going around when someone is way too obsessed with someone famous. It says here it's a term experts have started using for people who get too fixated on a celebrity. And my God, there are a lot of these folks out there. I mean, a lot of them.
Yeah, like the next level ones.
Well, yeah, you guys are next level.
Where they like know their birthday. They have like
okay, Dana, Anna
cutouts
Kendrick's
of 'em.
birthday.
I do not know Anna Kendrick's birthday.
You do, too.
I thought you sent her a message on her birthday.
When it pops up, I don't remember off the top of my head when it is.
Ashley, what's his name? Afton Poopter. What the hell's his name again?
Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher's birthday.
I don't even know how old he is.
Yes,
Is
you
he
do.
like 42?
Wapple, Chris Jericho's birthday. Go.
Oh, boy.
I'll just make up a date. It'll make the bit work.
October 25th.
Oh, my God. You're crazy, man.
I do know that Bruce's birthday is September 24th.
All right. I know the members of Kiss's birthday. I do. Because when I was a kid, I was celebrity worship all over Kiss. Absolutely.
I know Jennifer Lawrence's birthday is August 15th.
Hit me with it.
1990.
1990.
Why do you know that?
Because I'm absolutely in love with her.
Oh,
I didn't know
But
that.
you didn't make your list of 3, though?
Yeah.
No, because we had to leave girls off of it.
No, we
didn't.
What's his nuts over there named Anna Kendrick?
Oh, I thought you just wanted dudes.
No.
You can,
Oh, yeah. I would absolutely love to hang out with Jennifer Lawrence.
well, you can't redo your list. It's too late.
She smokes weed. She likes to drink. drink. Oh boy, that'd be fun.
She's got hair, and you said before you're into girls with hair.
Yeah,
that's true.
And it's kind of funny because my girlfriend is absolutely obsessed with Jennifer Lawrence too.
Josh, tell us about who your girlfriend is obsessed with.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah, Wapple, you can't change your list now. And if I remember right, you said Karen Rogers.
Yeah, yep. He was on there.
Number one.
You wanted to meet
JB Smoove.
JB Smoove.
I don't know why I threw him on there.
So here are the signs that you have celebrity worship syndrome. You think about them constantly. They're always on your mind to the point that you can't focus on anything else. Your identity is enmeshed with their own.
Well, I know some people who are obsessed with shows like the Kardashians.
See, that stuff.
That's alarming.
That aggravates me, and it concerns me.
Yeah, I don't like when they call those people celebrities, like the housewives and stuff.
Oh, the
like
housewife
that.
show.
Where they're quote unquote celebrities simply because they're rich.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? They haven't really done anything.
And they were handed a television show, or they created their own television show. Yeah, that's a blurred definition now.
Or like an influencer can be called a celebrity.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that should count either.
Lick me down. There's no way.
Although I did say a YouTuber is where I got starstruck.
I remember that.
I wouldn't call him an influencer.
Yeah,
More of
you
an
know what?
instructor.
But Josh, it was such an original character. It's not like you said a Kardashian. This is a guy who does what? Edits audio?
Yeah.
I mean, no one's going to take that away from you.
No, you can have that, Josh.
Your identity is enmeshed with their own. Like, see, this stuff gives me the creeps. Like, if something bad happens to them, it feels like it happened to you. I would check on somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
I can say some celebrity deaths have got me, for sure.
Right, but you didn't pretend like it was your own personal tragedy.
No, not at all.
Yeah, you didn't need a week off of work to grieve somebody you've never met.
Can we get that?
Probably. Mental health days.
If you try hard to look like your favorite celebrity.
That's sad when people do that.
That is scary. I've seen people before, especially girls, with Taylor Swift, actually. People are very obsessed with her, and so they'll, like, zoom in on her videos and, like, or her pictures and buy the stuff she has in her kitchen. Like, oh, she has this wine that she drank once. I now need 20 bottles of it.
Here's where
I don't like when they cut the bangs like her. I don't like her bangs.
Who cut bangs like who?
Taylor Swift's bangs.
I'm with you, Wapple.
Girls would cut their hair like how her bangs are cut. And
you don't like that?
I've seen girls that, like, they do exactly what you were talking about, Nick. Like, they try to look like them, like, almost identical. And I mean, they do a pretty good job.
Well, you know, this has been going on forever. I mean, when I was in junior high, every girl wanted to look like Madonna. Right? They wore the clothes, they cut the hair, and then here comes Hot Pants there on that television show that I never watched, and all the women were cutting their hair like her. Who's that again? Hot Lady, the show that everyone watched.
There's a couple
Jennifer
of those.
Aniston and Friends.
Jennifer Aniston and Friends.
Nice. Good job, Dave.
Every woman in the world cut their hair like...
they called it the Aniston, right?
Yep.
Or the Jen. I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that. Bob.
Here's where Dana falls into play here. Dana has celebrity worship syndrome, and here is one of the signs, and this is big time you, Dana. When it affects your finances, because you follow that Bob Seger ripoff Bruce Springsteen all over America, and you've spent all your money on the prick.
Yeah, I've seen Bruce in, I think it's like 11 states now.
Nothing but a Bob Seger ripoff. The last sign that you have celebrity worship syndrome, you try to figure out how to meet them in person. Where are they going to be? Which hotel are they staying at?
Bruce stays at the St. Paul Hotel when he's in town, for the record.
See what I mean? You're a sick
course.
person.
I am.
You go to their, maybe, oh God, have you driven to his hometown and gone to his boyhood home?
Never done that,
But
no.
you wanted to.
If I was in Jersey, that's the first place I'd
go. The haircut, 80s made me, 90s raised me. Sheeza said the haircut was called the Rachel, her character on Friends. So I'm wearing my Mr. Big t-shirt today from the concert.
That looks great on you.
Oh, it's nice of you to say. Thank you. The concert Nick and I went to, and you mentioned, meeting some of these heroes. Now, their guitar player, Paul Gilbert, has been one of my all-time guitar heroes. I love the guy. And there were some people waiting by their bus, and I half thought about it, but then I thought, I'm I'm a couple of years away from 50. I can't wait by the band's bus. I was very tempted to wait by the band's bus.
I get it.
And there were people waiting there, but they were all, my age or older, and I kind of thought, I don't think I should do that. And I wouldn't even know what to say.
I think you could have got away with that just because the other people around were older.
Yeah, maybe.
If it was just you by yourself, like your wife even took off, she's like, "You're on your own, man."
Yeah.
I'd just say, duh.
Let me throw this scenario at you. What if you would have gone to the bus and Paul Gilbert would have walked out and he would have looked into your eyes and said, "Next stop, Japan. You coming?"
I'd be there.
Yep, you'd be in Japan right now.
The shows are sold out, but we can get you some tickets.
And this would be the worst sounding morning show you've ever heard in your life.
I'd ruin it. Oh, Paul, I'd love to join you in Japan. First, can you spit in my face?
Half-assed morning show.
69. This show sucks. Who are you, fart knockers?
93X.
All right, we got to get out of here pretty soon. We do, which is a damn shame. I want to stay here all day.
I don't believe you.
We were talking about a condition that 3 members of this program have. It's a condition called celebrity worship syndrome. Dana has it real bad.
Yeah, I do.
Ashley has it second worst. Wapple is...
I'm a junkie. I'm itching over him.
I think you've got a chance. You've got a chance to cut loose from this addiction. But you also have celebrity worship syndrome. Got some text messages.
I thought of Sam Elliott, and now I'm back into it.
Oh, yeah?
Sam, no, it's only people who have recently passed away. He's been dead for years.
No. He's still alive.
I'm kidding, of course, yes. I hear his voice on television all the time. Sam Elliott. That's interesting you bring that up. Okay. Got some text message on the topic of celebrity worship syndrome. Sam Elliott, okay.
Mustache.
Well, no, I know who he is. Where I'm going with this is, doesn't he always, he's on every cowboy program in the last 35 years.
Truck commercials.
So is he, well, of course, aside from the commercials, is he on that Yellowstone program?
No, but he was on a prequel.
Mm-hmm. Well, that he was on some kind of...
It's Yellowstone adjacent, yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, no, I thought Taylor Sheridan. I'd like to meet him, too.
Wapple, you only get 3 names on the friggin'...
Yeah, you are screwed.
A half hour ago, you named your 3... You have to stick with your 3 names. The reason I bring it up, a listener says, you guys would know what this means. I don't. Up north, metal mullet Jesus. Oh, we covered how one of the signs of celebrity worship syndrome is you dress like your favorite celebrity. So the question or the comment is, I'm sick of people dressing up as Ripe from Yellowstone.
Rip.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Rip. Okay.
I guess I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
but he's a badass.
It's more like then you're just wearing a Carhartt and a cowboy hat.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't really notice. I would just think that they're dressed the heck
Well,
like.
that's just the word from up north metal mullet Jesus, who's never let me down before. He's sick of people dressing up as Rip. He spelt it with an E. Just so you know, I didn't look at R.I.P. and assume it was Ripe. He did add an E to the end of the...
I saw a young guy wearing basically a cowboy outfit at a gas station the other day. I thought that was pretty cool.
Huh.
Maybe he was dressing up like Ripe.
Now, I mentioned that I hold athletes and musicians in a much, much higher regard than most actors. There are certainly some lights-out actors like Robert De Niro in how do you call it, Goodfellas or Raging Bull or Taxi Driver, and then Jack Nicholson, some others. Sure, there are exceptions, but in general, I hold athletes and musicians in a much higher regard than I do actors, because a lot of them are talentless lumps. Here's a comment from Bad Timing Jesus. He says, it's hard to beat Weird Al Yankovic in terms of raw talent. And that's a perfect statement, Bad Timing Jesus, because there's no way you could tell me that, no offense, Ashley, but I'm going to take someone off your, Gary Day, whoever this person is.
Charlie Day.
There's no way that an actor, whoever Charlie Day is, can say he has even a tenth of the talent that a guy like Weird Al Yankovic does.
He would probably
That's
be
where
okay
I
with
stand
that.
on the subject.
He seems like Charlie Day seems like the type that would really like Al Yankovic.
That doesn't help. Don't try to put him in a good light when I'm creating a problem between Gary Day and Weird Al Yankovic.
Nah, you would actually really hate him because he yells a lot.
He's very high-pitched voice.
He does not like Charlie Day. He's mentioned that many times.
I've seen him in a movie. I wanted to punch the piss out of him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And fine, but some folks it doesn't matter, who it is. They're stricken with celebrity worship syndrome. Like, say, this next listener. I don't have their name. I apologize, but you know who you are. He says, I saw Miku Koivu at Target, and I was so starstruck, my wife had to hit me and tell me to stop staring at him.
I got starstruck by Maya Moore. I saw her at a Target as well. Speaking of Target.
Is that where all the celebrities hang out?
Target? Start hanging out at Target.
Club in Minnesota.
I met Ezra Tuaolo at a Target. Yeah, so maybe they do all hang out at Targets.
I think we're on to something.
I'll tell you what.
Wapple, you're falling apart.
Let's get out of here, guys.
As the show continued, you started falling apart.
Yep.
Happy birthday to Bass Solo Jesus from Killer Jesus, and happy birthday to Marcelina from Tire Flipping Jesus.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Get started on your spring cleaning checklist now. With the weather warming up, it's the perfect time to get your AC tuned up with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Get $40 off a furnace or AC tune-up, or double your savings and get $80 off when you get them done at the same time. Visit standardheating.com to save now.